Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to First Touch. Today is June 14th, and we are back here to recap the latest EU regional and talk also about this North American, what it could be a classic coming up. Dazzler and Roll Diz and T-Bates here, getting ready to get things going. Gentlemen, how we feeling? How we doing? We had a great weekend last weekend, and we're getting ready to talk about it all.
Yeah, I'm chilling, big chilling. Beautiful Wednesday, as always. As always, a lot of exciting things that happened this past weekend, and more exciting things that happened this weekend. Bates, how we doing with the Black Dewey? Wait, is he still muted?
No, he's adjusting.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm trying to figure out the framing, bro. You need to have the FT sign and need to have me. And there we go. Now we got both of them. So now we're gonna have a great show. Now that I'm nice and lined up. I need to figure out my frame, and it's looking good. Of course, the FT sign got closer for those y'all who don't know. It is much closer to my head, which means I might have shifted my location, my locale. You never know. Before we get into the video, I just have to let all of you know that over 50% of our viewers, 50%, are not subscribed to the channel. We are on the road to 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and we need your help to get there. So please hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and enjoy the video.
Get locale.
Okay, listen. Chat, we know most of the teams who are coming into the Boston Major, and I wanted you guys to know that we'll figure out the rest of them next week or this weekend for North America. But of course, before we intro our guests here for this event, I want to give you guys a chance to, if you haven't gotten your spring tickets, get them now. We heard the World's tickets sold out. We'll talk about that, of course, but spring tickets are still available. Boston's less than a month away. Here's the hype video.
Boston offense for their own good, and it's leading to opportunities like this. Ahmad off the ceiling. Ahmad with the 7 from heaven. I get higher, I never tire. Can they get control of this? Pop back from a towel as he takes control. What? Are you kidding me? This is really happening. It's really happening. It actually happened. Fortune favors Liquid.
This one flipped out. First killer. Does he have a flip? He's trying to use it to pass down. It's unbelievable.
So, again, spring major coming up soon, but of course, we've got things to talk about leading up to that. We're not there just yet. That being said, we got, again, so much Rocket League action to break down. We had to bring in 2 special analysts here to give their takes. These are some yappers. That's one thing for sure. Can we bring them in real quick? Let's bring in Jorby and Corelli. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. It's good to see you.
Yo, what's up? It's great to be back with you three. I love being on the show. And I think first time that Corelli and I are on at the same time. So this is fun.
Yeah, me and Jorby, we argue a lot. So this could be fun. I like this show already.
This is good. This is good.
That's why. Well, everybody needs to lock in because first off, we're going to start things off on a high note and talk about BROGAN mode, bro. BROGAN mode. Hogan mode finished top 4, bro. Let's go to the EU Globe to talk about this.
Not bro.
Bro?
Yeah, bro. With an E.
Mode, bro. BROGAN mode.
Thank you, bro.
Mode, Bates,
Thank you, bro. Come on, bro.
Well, you know, Scrub wants to be paid in gold, bro. And,
Yeah, there it is.
I
See,
think he earned it, bro.
And that's even better.
All I have is the bro. That's all I have. Everything else, terrible.
Did you guys hear Achieve's intro that game where he introed with a Scottish accent? That was amazing. I've never
was
heard
it really
Achieve's-
great?
Really good.
I haven't heard him pull that one out publicly, but man, he nailed it. And he did it with Johnny Boy too. It was great.
Shout out, Michael.
Yeah, it was definitely really exciting to see them. Now, look, can we get the highlights going? Do we have the Hogan Mode highlights? Let's get those on the screen because my goodness, it was a run that one person almost expected all the way. But last weekend on First Touch, we had that brag prediction. We didn't think Hogan Mode would make it too far. We thought they would run into a wall, but Jorby, they not only did they run into a wall, they blew past it, the blue wall.
They really did blow past it, and that's the best. That's the best Scrub looked all series, by the way. Man was whiffing so many balls later on in the series, but he made it happen. He locked down the back end. Just kidding, Scrub. I thought you played fine, but how about this guy, Growly? I mean, absolutely popped off. He was second in goals per game by the end of the tournament, and of course, I was nailing Scrub to the wall, and here he is dishing out passes to Growly left and right. They were like full bore on this K Corp team. They never gave them space. Every time K Corp gave them space, they took advantage of it. And I was just really impressed by this team's resiliency, like right up until this K Corp match. I don't think K Corp played their best, but I did think Hogan Mode, I thought they played well. And I think playing aggressively and committing as a team, but not taking unnecessary risks. I thought Hogan Mode as a risky team played extremely well and nailed the execution 100%.
Yeah, it was really impressive to see. They made it all the way to the lower final. I got a question, Bates. You were watching this. Did you think after the K Corp win they would go all the way?
Sure. I don't know
Well,
the answer to that one.
It was just a question of just like they had so much momentum going into the K Corp match. They ended up winning 4-1. You think they beat BDS?
They weren't going to win. It's impossible to win. It's not possible. It's no. You can't win. What they start off loser semis? That's 4 series in a row against the 3 best teams in Europe. That's not happening. So no, I didn't think they'd win. I think and it's back to back to back to back too. So I was just thinking on the terms of those type of lines, it's just not feasible.
You don't even think the momentum of beating the reigning major champions and one of the best players, if not arguably the best player in the world, Vatira.
The best player.
Yeah, best player. Yeah, best player. He surely looked like it that series, but yeah, you don't think that even could give the momentum to blow
Yeah,
by
it can give you the momentum, and then the moment that BDS hits a 177 kph pinch into your net in game 2, the momentum's gone. There's only so much adrenaline you can run off of in Rocket League, and eventually at some point you hit a wall, and they hit their wall, and that's why they ended up losing. Even if it wasn't
BDS, like nobody was beating Vitality. Like that was the wall that they were going to run into eventually anyway.
Well, especially twice.
Especially
twice.
Twice.
Beating them once would be enough. It's just so much to work with, having to overcome each team. So you hit that peak, or you hit that you climb one mountain, you got to climb a second mountain, you got to climb another mountain, and you got to do all that within a span of 5 hours. So just that physical toll on your mental and your emotional and your spiritual. But it's just highly improbable that anybody in this format could ever win from lower bracket. Might as well I'm letting everybody know right now, whoever team is in the grand final of the Boston Major is going to win. That's just guaranteed. It's just guaranteed. Somebody run the numbers. Direct run them for me. It's just gonna happen.
Wait, you mean whatever team wins the upper finals?
Yeah, whoever team wins upper is winning. It's just guaranteed. It ain't happening. It ain't happening.
I think the biggest shame is that we're not gonna. I mean, this Hogan Mode team, they did really well in the spring split.
Mm-hmm.
It's also a big shame that they didn't make Spring Cup, because it would have been this a little bit more exciting. But
I know.
For Hogan Mode, it's like we get them this one split, and then we're not going to see them for a while. I think they said that they were going to stay together, or they're planning on staying together, unless like some big time
planning.
But I hope that this isn't just a flash in the pan. Like, because this team was fun to watch. They were fun to root for too, and they were good. Like, they were legitimately good. Like, they looked convincing, and they made a lot of good teams look silly. They held Vatira scoreless. Vatira was 0-15 on his shooting against Hogan Mode through 5 games. So like, I feel like for Hogan Mode, that's really good results for what is essentially 2 regionals that we got to see out of them.
It's really interesting you say that, because now you're right. If they end up sticking in the next season, we'll see about that. But you got to give credit to Hogan Mode, though. They kind of stole the hearts of Europe as soon as they entered in the Spring Open, and even then in the Spring Invitational. It was a very great, heartfelt performance, and honestly, they look like a really good team. So I do hope to see more of Hogan Mode. But you were right, Corelli.
They were fun to watch.
Some of the best teams look like they weren't playing up to par. Some would even say, as we go to our next topic, VatiInvisible, that
Here we go again. Here we
it may be invisible.
Here
So
we go
K-Corp
again.
fails to win a regional in the spring split. This is definitely something interesting because this is also one of the first regionals. Well, this is the only split this season where they only were in one grand final. They were consistently in grand finals across the season until this split started. Top 6 in the Open, top 6 in the Invitational. Obviously, they made the grand finals in the Cup. Can we roll the Karmine Corp highlights? Want to get initial reactions from Corelli here on Karmine Corp's performance this split.
Oh, the whole split? The whole split, I would say it's fine. It's obviously below where they've been. Like, you see the tweets from Vatira. He's not happy about it. Obviously, I get that. You've been in the grand finals for the entirety of the season. I get that. But at the same time, like, this region has really morphed into a hyper competitive top 4. And I don't think K-Corp's necessarily like the top dog of all dogs. Like, there are multiple dogs at the same size with the same bite right now. And K-Corp, I mean, listen, they're losing to BDS and Vitality. If you're losing a lot, if you're losing if you're losing to those boys, then at least you're losing to your peers, in my opinion. If you're gonna lose to your peers. Don't be losing to Solary like they were doing last season. You know, don't be losing to G1 or excuse me, last split. Don't be losing to G1. Lose to the top dogs if you're gonna lose. It's still a super successful split. 4th place, 2nd place, 4th place in each of the regionals. That's not a failure. It's just not up to par for a team that's sitting in the grand finals every single time.
Interesting take. Jorby, do you echo that?
I mean, I think that K-Corp, but I definitely echo Corelli's sentiments there. Like, as a team, losing to your BDSs and your Vitality is not a problem. However, Guild taking you to 5, Solary taking you to 5, BDS taking you 7 is fine, right? And then obviously Hogan Mode, that's not a match that, you know, they should have lost. Like, K-Corp are ostensibly better than that team, but you know, we all know how Rocket League goes sometimes. And I think Hogan Mode, I honestly, I think they drew a bit of a blueprint for other teams on how you should play K-Corp, because a lot of teams, they respect the heck out of K-Corp, and it shows in their play. Like, they see Vatira on the ball, everybody waits to see what his next move is. Everyone's looking at where he's trying to pass the ball, but Hogan Mode didn't care. Hogan Mode just threw their car at the ball, challenge. Like, we're not going to give you space. We're not going to be afraid of you when we're on offense, because so many teams, they back down on offense. They're so passive against K-Corp on offense. That didn't happen with Hogan Mode. They played with confidence, and like, that sounds like this stupid ethereal thing, but like, that confidence comes in aggression and actually challenging the ball on offense so you can put pressure on K-Corp. That's why they were able to beat them. So like, I do think that there's a lot of credit to be given to Hogan Mode for how they played, and I don't think K-Corp could like right themselves in that series, because like, Hogan Mode just would never go away even when K-Corp were winning. So like, to me, it's like a little more complex, right? Because K-Corp, this is probably one of their worst results to a single team. It's not their worst result, but it is one of their worst. But they still played their usual suspects outside of Vitality, who isn't playing anybody close besides Liquid, apparently. But yeah, that's how I feel about K-Corp. I think Hogan Mode got to him mentally.
Interesting. I think somebody else got to him mentally. Roll days. Let's talk about what's going on with K-Corp. Karmine Corp is 3rd in Europe spring points. We got the standings in case you guys think we're making up some nonsense, because this is something that has been very interesting. I enjoy listening to Corelli and Jorby talk, because it's honestly very solid points and they're giving credit to all the other teams. But this was the best team coming out of the Winter Major, the best team in the world. And they're not making grand finals. They're not even making top 4s. It's 2 top 6s. Rodas, how do you feel?
Well, I have to really give credit to my man Money Go, because you know, he was onto something when he said, "What happens then?" And as soon as this young buck joins the league, it seems like K-Corp is just shaking every time they see this man. Even in a tournament, they don't have to play against him, but they just know that one round, they're going to have to find this guy on the field with them. And this kid has such an impact on the field that it is intimidating even the best player in the world, as most would say. And now they're losing against Hogan Mode. And this is no disrespect, but last season when I watched Growly play, and this is such an improvement for this player, Growly. Growly, he looked incredible this weekend. But I was like, Growly is not up to par with most of these players. This weekend, Growly just embarrassed K-Corp completely. That's a 4-1. A 4-1 for reigning major champs. I didn't want to say too much on this because anything that comes out of my mouth, Roldan, you're just hating. You're just hating. You know how good these players are. Oh my goodness. But I know like someone like T-Base, he just wants to get on the positive side of the French fans, the Karmine Corp fans. It's the blue wall. Okay, Base, we understand, bro. You just want their favorite. Yeah, okay, we understand this, right? You watch the gameplay. Wait, hold on, Corelli. I need you to reiterate what you said earlier. What did Vatira shoot this weekend?
All right, listen. All right, in the series against Hogan Mode, he was 0-15. But defensively, he was the guy for K-Corp. Like, he was the guy taking care of business there. So, like, clearly his role changed against Hogan Mode. But I know for your narrative role, Diz, I'll let you go, and I'll say he went 0-15 in the shooting department.
Okay, so now even Corelli's trying to defend him a little bit. You know? Let me back him up.
Yeah.
0-15. I think Vatira is supposed to be a defensive. He's a defensive guy. Like, he's the defensive superstar. He's always been his career. He can do things offensively. So for him to be outstanding defensively is not like something that's super surprising. But to go 0-15 against Hogan Mode, I think it just speaks for itself.
I mean, like, maybe he wasn't able to shoot well in the Hogan Mode series specifically, but Vatira, at least statistically, still third in assists for the tournament, third in score per game. And to me, score per game is pretty indicative of an individual player's performance over once you pass a certain threshold of games. So, like, not just defensively, I think that Vatira was creating a lot of value for K-Corp on offense, even in that Hogan Mode series where they were struggling to score. Yeah, he was 0-15, but he assisted a lot of his team's goals that they did score in that series. So, like, it's not, to me, Vatira is not invisible. Like, just because Vatira is not scoring every time he touches the ball, it doesn't mean he's not creating value other ways. And you're not invisible on the pitch if you're third in score per game and you make it as far in the tournament as you did, and you're getting as many assists on the table for your team as you are. I think it's a little more complicated than just like he didn't score any goals in the series.
Yeah, there's more nuance there for me too. I don't know. It's like kind of like define your terms then. Like what? I don't
even think
what
you
is
blame
being?
him. I don't even
No,
think you
I'm
blame
just saying
him.
like what does it mean to be invisible?
To not show up when it matters.
But in what way? Like because
Okay, so
Sure.
what actually happened in your eyes against Hogan Mode? Why do they lose 4-1? A team this skilled and reigning major champions lose 4-1 to Hogan Mode.
Hogan Mode put up 35 saves in that game, in that series. The pros were defensive across that entire series and have been in every single top team that they've gone into. I think
some
Hogan
of the
Mode
saves were insane.
some incredible saves. I
Yeah.
think Hogan Mode were like the key, really showed a great play style in like risk management and playing players to their strengths. Like Growly and Resi had fantastic series. Scrub played great in a third man position. So for me,
That's what I'm saying.
I feel like Hogan Mode actually put the right players in the right spot and managed their risk perfectly throughout this series against K-Corp. A 4-1 over K-Corp is no fluke in my mind. So that's why I think they won. I think they managed risk perfectly and played every single player in the right position. That their game plan going into this K-Corp series was perfect by Hogan.
I mean, you even saw it in the highlights that rolled just a little bit earlier. Like every time there'd be a transition for Hogan Mode, all of K-Corp, they're expecting the brainless play, like the pass from Scrub to Growly, where Growly slotted it on the left side. You see Itachi, who's next up. He sits on the back wall because he's expecting Scrub to push it to the corner, or he's just expecting an easy read off the backboard. Scrub immediately recognizes the space that he's given, and he instead goes for the ceiling pass over to Growly. He uses the space that he's given just to, put the visual we saw earlier, Corelli, to what you're talking about, is that I thought that I also agree that Hogan Mode's field awareness and their decisions that they made because of that awareness were really good. Like Hogan, like I don't think we're not trying to oversell how well Hogan Mode played. I genuinely believe, and Corelli sounds like you believe as well, that like they played really well, that entire tournament. I mean, even against K-Corp.
I'm just trying to say to Diz though, like I'm just trying to figure. I understand. Like I agree. Like for the record, I do agree that I think that Vatira going 0-15 is not a good look.
Sure.
Like, he should be scoring goals. He's the guy, right? He's been touted as one of the best players in the world for like a year now. He needs to be scoring. That's poor. But I don't think he was invisible on the pitch in my eyes because he picked up what he wasn't doing on offense defensively.
But they still got 4-1.
Yeah, they lost.
Okay,
K-Corp's
so
lost before.
my main like critique with this roster is previously when they were dominating this region, they were a team that was able to adjust mid-series against everybody. Now it's not happening. Now they're struggling to they're struggling against the teams that they should not be struggling against at all. Like at all. I think the only team I would see them, or the only like 2-3 teams I would see them struggling against, Liquid, BDS, and Vitality. And Vitality is going to be the team that consistently is going to beat them this split over and over again. And I think that's just due to mental factors that Zen is just in their heads. But now they can't bounce back against Hogan. Like Hogan Mode is such it's crazy. Like you guys are saying that their saves and they've made ridiculous saves. They played it absolutely perfectly. Like it was an anomaly that Hogan Mode was playing that outstanding. That was as perfect as a team could play against this K Corp. And previously in the past, K Corp, a team could be playing perfectly against K Corp. Mid-series, K Corp would make adjustments to battle that, and then they would bounce back and win the series. Now it's not happening. So my question to you is like, why do you think that is no longer happening for Karmine Corp?
Yeah, I think, well, I mean, we have 2 data points though, right? Like the last time they played, K Corp crushed Hogan Mode 4-1 to the other side. So, I mean, clearly something's changed for Hogan Mode, right? So like, for me, I feel like the credit has to go to Hogan Mode.
So it's more of a Hogan Mode adjustment than a K Corp.
I mean, they had just beat Liquid in 7 games right before that series. Like, clearly Hogan Mode were doing something right. Like, I mean, is that a fluke from Liquid? Like to beat Liquid and then K Corp in the same tournament? Usually when a team is beating a lot of teams that they don't normally, the credit does go to that team because they were playing so far above the level they normally do. And like K Corp weren't without their issues, like as we've acknowledged. But like, I don't think that like them being unable to make a mid-game adjustment against Hogan Mode, I agree with you that is a problem for K Corp, but we don't really see them have that issue like often. Like this is kind of the first time I would say that this adjustment issue is a problem for them because they were able to adjust against Guild, right? They were able to adjust against Solary in the same tournament. They actually had to adjust against BDS as well. BDS looked like they were going to win that for a little bit, and then K Corp they clutched up and they got it done. But it's, you know, I don't think it's did I have that backwards? Did BDS beat them in 7? I think I had it backwards.
Yeah,
BDS beat K Corp in 7 in upper finals.
BDS beat K Corp in 7.
Upper
But
bracket
again, like
semifinals.
that one you definitely expect, right? But K Corp, I remember the series they were playing really closely. Like K Corp were still there themselves. They clapped Moist, had 0 problems against Moist. So like it's, for me, I look at Hogan Mode, how they performed. You take Liquid to 7, you win, and then you beat K Corp running off of that momentum. Like T-Bates was saying earlier in the day, in the lower bracket, it's hard to run the whole way from lower bracket to round 2 and get the whole way to the lower bracket final and still have that steam. A team is eventually going to figure you out. BDS were that team.
See, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. Only because lower bracket semifinals on Saturday. You get the 4-1 over. No, lower bracket quarters are on Saturday. Sunday, you play lower semifinal, and of course, you wait for upper finals. And upper finals first. You play lower semifinal, then you play lower bracket final. They just came off a 4-1 win where they put up 35 saves. Like big point to Corelli talk. They go against BDS. They put up more saves in BDS's series, but they still get 4-1 here on the other side. I feel, for me, it doesn't feel like. I mean, I feel like Hogan Mode played consistent, but I think Karmine Corp didn't, and that's where the issue is here. Because it goes back to Rolders's point of them being an adapting team and knowing that they can make those runs.
I don't disagree with that, but the original talking point that we started on was Vatira invisible or not?
Right.
Like, I think I am happy to say here that I think that K-Corp did not play a good series, like, overall. Like, I agree with that point. I'm just saying I don't think Vatira was absolutely invisible. And I also think taking a one series against a team like Hogan Mode, who had already proven to beat other top teams, and then to make a statement saying that Vatira is just like an invisible player on K-Corp and just paint that for their basically the entirety of this regional, I think is incorrect, in my opinion.
All right, now it's time for me to jump into the conversation. I've let everybody yap. I've let everybody get the little thoughts out. Dazzard and Rodis, y'all have a vendetta against Karmine Corp?
No.
No, that's ridiculous.
Okay, I'm just
But
asking.
I do have an issue, but I'll let you go a little, and I'll get to that a little later.
Okay, first off, Raul, you said that I care about the French fans. I don't. First off, I don't even speak their language. It's annoying for me to go on Twitter and have to hit translate tweet every single time. So I really don't care about anything they have to say. So no, I don't care about whether they follow me or not. I don't care whether they agree with me or anything. I don't care about any of that. I want them to enjoy Rocket League. So that makes sure that people esports does a job. So that means I still have a job as well. That's what I care about. I don't care about what they got to say about Bates. That's number one. Number two. This VatiInvisible thing, it's got to stop. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. Bro, you're a GOAT. You're a top 10 player in the world. Itachi was a great player. And exotic as well, so I don't know where you got him in there. Vati's still averaging 450 and at 420 or something, 430 something in the Hogan Mode loss. He might have went over 15. Yeah. I don't care how many times he misses the net. He can miss the net 40 times. Shoot and shoot. And sometimes you have an off day. Sometimes you have an off day, sometimes they have an off series. They lose the Hogan Mode, which I think a lot of people aren't respecting how great the Gold Bros played over the weekend. Because, and this is the talking point as well. If they did end up losing in the closed qualifier, Moist might not even be at the major right now. It'd be Hogan Mode. This going off of how they look. This going off of how they look. In the closed qualifier, you could talk to pros and everything else, and like, bro, you know this. The more you know this, the closed qualifier, it's got a little bit more pressure because you don't scrim against all those teams. They might catch you by surprise. It's easier to play some of the best teams in the game because you expect them to hit the ball every single time versus somebody a little bit lower. He might whiff, might catch you off guard, put you out of position, against counterattack. I think that's a fair point. Am I wrong? Am I wrong in that?
It's valid.
Okay, it's valid. Exactly. So Hogan Mode is a top 6 team in Europe right now. And the reason Karmine isn't winning every single tournament is simply because Europe got better. And it's not just because of Zen. BDS, when it picked up Rise, they got better, right? They went from being about, and somewhere, they weren't making majors, but I say they're probably about in the 5th to 8th range. Now they're top 3. Top 2, actually, according to the ranking. I put them top 3. You got Vitality, who's in. You have Karmine Corp. You got Moist, who's a little bit lower than all of them. And then you got Liquid, who's probably a little bit above Moist. Last split, it was Karmine, then Liquid, then Oxygen, I would say. So you had a top 2, then maybe a 3. Or really you had a top 1 and a 2 and then a 3. Now you got 4. So, of course, Karmine's not always going to win every single time. It really depends on who's on the day, and Vitality's the most consistent team right now. Karmine's looking solid. Them losing a Hogan Mode is they lost to a solid team who had momentum, who had passion, who had a reason to keep going. Karmine, it is a regional. They knew they were going to make the major regardless. If they lose, it happens. And they move on. They'll be back for the major. They're still there. Still one of the best teams in the game with the best player in the game, without question. Anybody saying anything else, you're all just wrong. I don't get it. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it.
I love that from you.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fact. But, it's not love. It's a fact.
Well, no, I do love that from you because the fact that you can just like give them a cop out for being dominant and being major champions, being teams that we were talking about the best team in the world for I don't know how long.
They're still the major champion.
Yeah, but clearly that don't matter because now Europe got better. We're gonna give them a pass for getting 3rd in the region. 3rd?
They're still. I mean, that's still really good.
It's regionals.
Like, that's a
Talk
successful
to me at the
region.
major.
They were grand finals in every regional.
Okay,
does that not matter anymore?
Since you want to bring that up, then let's look at the Winter Open in the winter. Since you walked right into it, let's see who Karmine beat there. Karmine beat Vertigo Esports. Then after that, they played G1. Then after that, they played German Amigos, and then they beat Vitality without Zen. Wow, what a run that was! Impressive, impressive indeed. It's okay. It's all right. It's all right. It's not that impressive though. So okay, let's go to the Winter Cup. I believe this is what it's called. Let's see what they did this time. Winter Cup. Karmine played German Amigos. They played Oxygen, and then they beat Liquid. And then in the third one, they lost to Liquid, right? So out of all those teams, only one of those teams is still the same, it's still great, and it's Liquid. They've lost to BDS in 7. They've lost to Vitality. They're the only team that split. The only team to beat Vitality in a series. And we acting like they off? The only team.
That's with Vitality knowing that they got a life.
That's a grand final.
Oh my God, the copium. They're the only team to do it.
But they still lost. That doesn't matter. They took the series and then they took the L.
It don't matter. The fact of the matter is
4-2 the next series.
4-2. It was still tight. They ran out of gas. The only team to beat Vitality, and we acting like they're having issues.
Top sixes.
The two top fours. Top fours. Get it correct. And they're losing to BDS.
Oh.
Like, come on now. Get off there. Get this Karmine haterade out of here, man. We'll see what they do with the major, bro. EU's got legitimately the best teams in the game right now. I don't think it's disputable.
Correct.
I think it's Karmine. You want to put Vitality above Karmine? Go ahead. I want to see that land. So I still have Karmine.
Yeah.
Then you want.
You still have Karmine at 1.
You got it's regionals. There's the difference between regionals and a major. You know that.
Nah, there's a difference
between be able to play and the comfortability on the setup and be able to translate that.
It doesn't connect. That doesn't connect.
At 1 still. After what we're witnessing this split, Zen just joins this team. They dominate the whole split. Karmine Corp is struggling to beat top teams anymore. And they lose in the Hogan Mode 4-1. And you still got K-Corp number 1.
Bates, you know what I equate the regionals to?
I was with you right up till the end.
Yeah,
okay,
I was drinking the Kool-Aid.
Listen,
I was
you don't
drinking
have
the
to be with
Kool-Aid
me.
and I put my drink down after that.
I put my drink down.
Fine.
You can put it down, but I just look at it differently. That's what I say. I respect you like Vitality. If you want Vitality one, I can respect that. To me, I view the regionals as the regular season. That's why I view that as. So you can have the best record coming out of the regular season. You might not be the best team.
Would you say that the regionals are indicative of how those teams perform internationally?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily, no. Because remember, we could think all the way back then. BDS, all the way back, the first land back. They were third seed. They won the major. Looked like the best team there. Easy. Easy. Not even close. What was G2? Was G2 number 1? G2 wasn't your number 1 when they won in winter. And then who won in spring? Who won spring? Moist. Moist was number 1, though. No, BDS was number 1. Moist is number 1. And then we go to fall. Okay, Gen G was the first 1 seed. Gen G was the first 1 seed to win the major.
And then K-Corp was the second 1 seed.
And then K-Corp was the second. So it's not necessarily, it doesn't necessarily mean just because you're the 1 seed means you're the best team in the game. And then it could be. But you could be. And Vitality in a lot of people's eyes probably are the best team. And I'm not going to.
But do you actually? So I want to ask: do you actually think that Vitality are going to have like struggles when they get onto the setup and the atmosphere is different? Like, do you actually believe that is like that alone is enough? Like, based on what you've seen Vitality do to every top team in Europe this split with Zen, like you think that reason for for LAN is enough to not put them number 1 right now? Like, just because they haven't with Zen on the roster like performed on LAN, even though 2 of their players
I just haven't seen it.
Are veterans at this point.
I just gotta see him play. And the reigning major champion is still really great. And the reigning major champion has still beaten you at least once. I understand it didn't win the whole entire set because best of 2. But the reigning major champion is still there. It's still got the best player. In my opinion, they're still the best until proven otherwise.
It's just that nobody in Europe has done what Vitality have done, which is get the triple crown.
Well, like, that's impressive. That's impressive.
I mean, like, how is that not enough to convince
you? But then here, let me tell you this though. Because G2, remember, all the way back a year ago, G2 almost did what Vitality did. They lost game 7. Okay, almost.
You can't compare
okay,
that.
I understand. Okay, I understand because they lost in overtime. I know they lost in overtime by a goal. So, yeah, they almost didn't pull it off. The fact is, they were right there, and they were clearly the best team in NA, and then they got out of the second round. They got out of the second round. So there's nothing to this automatic proves and show that Vitality's going to translate what they do online to LAN. Everybody knows LAN and online are two different things. I've seen Karmine perform on LAN. They just won the major. They look dominant in doing so. FaZe put up a great fight. I'm gonna have Karmine win it. That's my eyes. That's why I view. That's why I view. I view the regional and the regular season, majors or playoffs.
Picking K Corp isn't a crime. There's no crime there. But I don't understand how taking a team that's won 3 for 3 in all the regionals. I don't care what you think of the regionals. I value the regionals probably a lot more than you do, clearly.
I think you do.
And head-to-head have won consistently. Head-to-head against all the other teams has won consistently. It doesn't even matter. Vitality could go 0-2 at the major right now. Vitality are the best team in Europe. Hands down. No question. No question. There is no argument that you can, no statistic, no nothing that you could say to say that K Corp is better than Vitality right now. Doesn't matter what happens at the major. We're talking about right now who's the best in Europe. It is Vitality without a doubt. Without a doubt. There's nothing you can say. No, there's no placement that K Corp has done that's better than Vitality. What is that face? Where? What placement has K Corp had that's better than Vitality? Tell me, show me. Where?
What you're saying is valid, and I respect that view of taking it. And honestly, that is the view that
Bates,
majority of people are taking.
You say it yourself. You value the winners, the people who are winning. Those are the greatest teams. Those are the greatest players.
And what you just said about 2 minutes ago before you started your soliloquy, you said, Jack Collar, entertainment. Entertainment.
Go ahead.
You said before you started your soliloquy that I, as in you, value the regionals much more than I do, as in me. Which means, and you said towards the back of your soliloquy that I said, Tyler Bates, that I value winners. Who just won the most recent major?
Bates, if this argument was the other way around, you know what you'd be saying right now?
What I'd be saying right now?
That was so long ago. That was a whole split ago. I can't believe you're bringing that up. We're talking right now, Bates. Right now.
Bro, I was bringing
right
G2 from a year ago,
If G2
bro.
won all 3 regionals, would you still say that, you know, you're giving like if G2 won all 3 regionals, would you be saying the same argument that it's some other team in NA that's the best team?
Nope, the bias would kick in and he'd be like,
G2
dominating the region. They won all 3 regionals.
Well, G2's the major champion. I've seen that. I've seen what they can do.
Oh, come on,
I've seen what they can do. I've seen what they can do. What do you mean?
It's been over a year. It's been over a year.
Well, I mean, it's been over a year.
Talk about G2. I'm sorry. I wanted to.
How did G2 get brought up somehow? I don't even know how they did that. Basically, what I'm saying is,
point out your bias,
no, and also this is a conversation that's distracted. Maybe I might be incorrect by Vitality. I don't really care about that. The point I'm making is Karmine. Oh, we need to stop that nonsense. It starts with roll, diz, and dazzling.
No, because listen, the entire point of this is a team that is best team in the world, dominating as long as they did all this season. This is the worst split they had online so far. I think that should be a point. There should be some criticism there.
When the best teams in the game are all over there, it makes sense.
That's to be determined.
It could be to be determined. You're right about that.
That's to be determined. That being said, yeah, sure, you can make whatever excuse you make, but regardless of that, something is going on. Karmine Corp has been in these regionals 3 times with Vitality. Ooh. My whole thing about all this, though, is that like Bates said, I don't have a vendetta against Karmine Corp. I actually like the players a lot. And even despite how they feel about some things I say, but one thing I had a problem with was after the initial conversation for this whole invisible thing, the whole thing that started this in the first place, people took to Twitter. Obviously, Vatira is going to say something about roll this. That's okay. That's them personally. That's between them. Eversax got on an interview and started talking about First Touch as a whole. Start talking about the show, saying this was like an impression thing, and that's what kind of irritated me, because roll this is a competition. One. He's standing across from you at the major. He had everything to say about what, of course he's going to say something that may get in the team's head. He has that platform to do so. Just like you have a platform to get on your interview and say whatever you want to say. When you start bringing in everybody else in the question that they're saying one thing or another about it and questioning the entire show, that's where I have an issue. Especially considering where your players are handling these things better on social media than you are. Now, for me, that is where it kind of stems, is what's going on behind the scenes, Because if that's if that's what I'm seeing, and then Karmine Corp, after seeing all that, come out and get a top 4 finish at this event after all the trash talk or whatever, then yeah, I just think that deserves to be discussed here a little bit. Now, I think they'll be a team that will bounce back, sure, but I was not happy with what I ended up reading, and instead of just being one of those people that see that and then try to double engage here with and create more drama or whatever, I think that it's definitely something that I wanted to at least call to attention to, because I felt like it's just honestly, you're taking one thing and you're bringing it and pushing it to everybody. Because not only did he just talk about first touch of the show, he talked about North American talent in general. And then that's when it led to conversations over Twitter where people are like, no, any people, they don't say that about you, and left, right, up and down. But I felt like it was just an absolute joke of a thing to say anyways. And it kind of took my stock down on Eversax a little bit. So no, I don't have a vendetta though against Karmine Corp as a player, but I do have an issue with Eversax after what he said on that thing on that French interview that was on Reddit that they translated. So that to answer your question, Bates, that's where I'm at with that.
Well, all right. Well, I didn't know all that.
Yeah, I ain't touching that one. I don't know.
Sounds like a boxing match.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just came off as like unprofessional to me, and I definitely didn't like that. So, but regardless, in terms of the players, I'm not involving the players into that, because that again had nothing to do with the player. Just like how Roll Diz Vatira is just between Roll Diz and Vatira. Don't know why. I mean, I get it. You defend your coach or whatever, but
it's not even between Roll Diz and Vatira, man. Bro, I was just commenting on Vati's game. Nothing's personal about any of this.
Nothing's personal, man.
Nothing's personal. He just comment what he sees.
I don't know. Yeah. See, me, I'd be defending the show. I don't like people say stuff
I mean, I get it.
But
I get it. I will say this, and it's not super deep, but I will say that I think Roll Diz saying something and Corelli saying something's different, because Roll Diz is a phase coach, and like I think people get upset with Roll Diz because they value his opinion, whereas like if I said something, people could just be like, "Oh, he's just a stupid analyst. He doesn't know what he's talking about." So like,
yeah,
I think
they don't value your opinion.
Definitely value your opinion, Corelli. Come on.
I know.
No, that's not what he's saying.
I know. That's not what I'm saying,
that
though.
You're a
Your
coach.
opinion is more valuable as a coach than mine, and so when you say things like that, I think that it hits harder than if I were to say it. Is what I mean. It's not that my opinion isn't valued. It's just that I think as a coach, your opinion hits harder.
I think that's all just a matter of interpretation.
Yeah,
Indeed. Now let's move on from this, because we already started talking about Vitality. Let's kind of get into that, because like we said, Vitality going 3 for 3 in the spring split. First European or North American team to accomplish this in the open era. We got Vitality highlights. Of course, we got the highlight package there. Jack.
Yeah.
Vitality, dude, is this the greatest run in Rocket League since the open era began?
This is the strongest show. I mean, greatest run. I don't know. I'd have to go up and look at who they played, who they beat. But absolutely, this last run was fantastic from Vitality. Vitality in even those regionals before, like they had that regional that bad matchup with Liquid in the previous regional in the Spring Cup, where it was like touted as the most new era Rocket League match we've ever seen. And it certainly was. I mean, I remember watching that. My mind was blown. I'd never seen players play the game at this high a level. I think the reason why we're talking about Europe being so strong is because of this team right here. Everyone's chasing greatness. In Vitality right now, they're looking like greatness. And I agree with Bates. They got to win a major. But at the same time, right now, in these 3 regionals that they've had, everyone wants to chase after this team Vitality. And I think that's why the level of Europe is just going up and up and up, because a triple crown for Team Vitality, boy, they're looking so good right now. I don't know who's going to beat them, I'm not going to lie.
I mean, it's incredible. Like, it really is, Jorby, just to be able to see like that happen. I mean, a lot of people, of course, we all had our predictions of how things were going to go, but this is just something that I think, it feels very special to be able to kind of watch this run for Vitality happen.
It is. And I mean, look, here are Vitality's played matches over the entire split. Here's who they've played, okay? They beat Quadrant. They beat G1. They beat K Corp. They beat Liquid twice. Then they beat no name team 2.5 Men. Sorry, this was THM. then they love you 2.5 Men. Then they beat BDS. Then they beat Moist. Then they beat K Corp. Then they lose to K Corp, which is the only loss in this entire thing that I'm listing. This is across all 3 regionals. All right. Then they beat K Corp. after they lost initially. So they still won. Then they beat Monaco 3-0, easy. G1 again, liquid. And then they beat BDS twice. There are, I count 1, 2, 3, 4 teams out of the 15 matches played by Vitality that are teams that didn't make the major in spring. And if you add G1 to that, former major teams that made it to winter, well, Vitality are beating them as well. The quality of competition that Vitality are beating, they're not just rinsing your, they're not rinsing your 2.5 men's the whole way through the bracket. No, they're playing the best that Europe has to offer through the entire bracket. That's what happens when you move through the upper bracket so often in double elimination. Nobody is better than this team right now, period. It is the most impressive run I have ever seen in the open era. It beats BDS in RLCS X. It beats absolutely anybody in RLCS 21. Some might make an argument for Falcons. I will not. I think Europe's talent pool is the best that the entire world has to offer, and it's just extremely impressive that they were able to do this.
I want to just get the question of Royal and Bates. Do you guys think this is the greatest run since the open era began?
For me, it has to be. There's no other team that's done this. The 3-for-3 is a crazy feat, especially in a region like Europe, which we have been claiming has been the best region for a minute now, and it rightfully is so. So it just has to be. I got nothing else to say. It has to be.
I would think so, I guess. No, I don't guess. I know. It is the best. The Triple Crown's impressive. I was putting it in perspective. It really is impressive. When you hear that RLCS X BDS didn't even accomplish that, it puts it in perspective. Because I mean, you already know how everybody knows how I think about that. RLCS X Europe, pathetic. But this Europe in the spring, pretty solid. Pretty solid indeed. Got a lot of great teams there. And the fact that they keep winning, it's really impressive. It's the greatest run across the regionals. Across the regionals. That's for facts.
I would say across one split, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's that's what I mean. Yeah, that's what that's the parameters. Oh, sorry if people didn't know that. Parameters.
Yeah. I guess across one split. Because still RLCS X BDS, I mean,
that was very impressive.
It's very tough. Although I will say K Corp came pretty close to a run like BDS's in the first 2 splits of this year. So just getting to grand finals basically every time. That one blemish of the fall major, obviously the RLCS X, it's hard because the RLCS X we didn't have majors, so BDS basically winning a major in name only, but was basically a glorified regional for that 4th fall, or for the fall major of RLCS X where they just played Europe. So it's kind of hard, but K Corp came pretty close in that regard because of how dominant they were in those regionals. Second, first, second through fall and winter is pretty good.
Jack, you like your stats. Let me say what D-Rec just said.
Uh-oh.
That's a crazy stat. See, this is why people like D-Rec are great. I love statisticians sometimes. The eye test matters. D-Rec
Only when they agree with you.
Maybe. D-Rec said Vitality set the record for best regional win percentage and a split for EU. Previous record belonged to RLCS X Fall Team BDS, who finished the regionals 25-2, 92.59% win rate. Vitality finishes this split 15-1, 93.75%. My goodness. That's insane. That's insane. That's crazy. That's a crazy number. That's domination. You gotta love it.
That's domination.
That's nice.
I think there's no denying the impact that Zen has had on this Vitality roster, which leads me to my next question. Is Zen the most impactful rookie in RLCS in Rocket League history? Zen has not lost a tournament yet. Jorby, I'm starting with you.
Yes, he is the most impactful rookie we've ever seen. We've had some impressive rookie debuts, but to me, when you don't lose a single tournament when you enter and you just keep winning tournaments and everybody's saying that that your team looks like the undisputed best team in the world right now. I mean, and he's the guy. he's the guy conducting. I'm one of those people. Okay, not everybody.
That's right.
You know, people who know what's up are saying that Vitality are look like the undisputed best right now. Love you, Roll Diz. But I just am so impressed with Zen. I'm not just impressed with Zen and his mechanics and his ability, his personal ability. I'm impressed with his decision making, with his poise. Like that's something that like some rookies come in. And that's something, there's a bit of an adjustment period that they need. Zen didn't need an adjustment period. I mean, after the spring open, the whole argument was talking about like unrealistic expectations and how Zen didn't live up to expectations because he wasn't double flippily trip resetting all over the place. And, you know, the opposite argument being he didn't need to. And not to get all of that, but I'm saying like, to me, that was a greater marker of Zen and how good he is the fact that he felt like he didn't need to be that, and that he instead went for the optimal decision, the decision that would elevate his team and get his team to a victory. That's the type of player that we haven't seen a lot of rookies be. I think we've seen a lot of other rookies have some inconsistency. They still have quick come-ups, but there's still some inconsistencies there. Zen is not showing that right now. Zen is on the honeymoon of his life, and I don't know how long it's going to last, but like him, Alpha and Radosin, all three of them gel so well. And like I think people have been talking a lot about Radosin, but maybe not enough about Radosin. I think having that team around him, I don't think any other rookie has had like a team like that to just jump in. Maybe Justin, I think, is the first that's coming to my mind that had a roster that was of that excellence of the time. But you put him on an excellent roster that already top 8'd at a major, and he's only elevated the team. To me, that's the most impressive thing you could do as a rookie, is you come in and you elevate the vets around you. That's crazy. Like, and that's absolutely insane. There's never been a talent that we've ever seen like Zen.
That's really interesting. I like that. I need some time to think here. Corelli, how do you feel about this?
No, don't answer that, Jack. He goes second.
Okay.
You always have time to think. Yeah, he always waits for everybody else to say stuff. You go second.
You gotta listen to me think out loud. So if you're ready for me to think out loud, then here we go.
I know. See, think on the fly. That's what the person told me.
Well, no, you're gonna hear this. You asked for it, you got it. So the thing that is on my mind here is you are absolutely right, Jorby. When you talk about Zen, he's doing something that's phenomenal. A triple crown in the RLCS in this era with this level of competition, top down, at least a top 5 in Europe. That is fantastic. Dude is crazy. There's an impact there. And the only reason I haven't jumped on it yet is because I'm trying to think, first person that comes to mind is Justin. Because for me, Justin, you talk about his rookie debut, it wasn't that great. He was on Out of Style. Out of Style did horrible, but he was that good. Justin was that good to where even after that was done, NRG said, we got to get him. We got to pick him up. And they had picked him up and they had cradled him like a baby ever since then. He's been on that roster and they've even won a world championship together. And obviously Justin's impact has definitely like let like people, he's had his career and it's been something that's kind of sent waves around Rocket League as it happened. Another thing I think about is Seiko, but I'm really kind of debating between Zen and Justin right now. The only problem is Zen's career so early versus Justin's had time. I'm gonna go with Zen right now just because of the initial him out the gate. That level of impact is something that is so phenomenal. Justin, he had time to get into things, and he got on NRG to play a little bit better. But that initial, first time on the pitch, we win a grand final. Hey, let's keep winning. We're not done winning yet. We let's win some bubble tournaments too. Why not? We just gonna keep collecting trophies. I like that from Vitality. I like that from Zen. So I'll go with him right now, and I'll book on that for the rest of the season too.
All right, book on it. The answer is no. The answer is no. Now, it might change after the major, after the world championship, but the answer is no right now. What? He's played a split. And he's got 2 people whose rookie seasons are really hard to beat.
Give me somebody better, though.
Talk to him, Bates.
Well, one of them just won the world championship. He's reigning world champ. Yeah, that might be the greatest. That might be the greatest. And then there's another one that you mentioned. You kind of mentioned out of style. That was RS. Justin's rookie season RLCS was an NRG, and he kind of was the best person in the league.
RLRS is that. For me
RS is
personally.
different than playing in the league, buddy.
Yeah, but it's your first season. You're playing a qualifying in the one. It
RLCS
technically counts as
and
your
the
RLCS season.
RLCS.
If you're playing in a league
Justin-
that gets to a league, that's kind of how that works.
No, that's a promotion.
Because he could
playoff.
have been on a team in the league at the same time he was eligible, could he not?
Wait, was he though?
But he
No,
wasn't. Exactly. So that's the
exactly.
point.
So okay, that is the point, which means he wasn't in his rookie season RLCS. Thank you for
Oh my
articulating that
God,
so
that is
eloquently for me. I didn't
okay,
even have to
that's-
say anything.
No, because that doesn't make
Justin-
sense. That means that you could play a rival series for like 3 years and then get in the RLCS. Oh, it's my rookie season all over again. That's stupid. Like, it was his rookie season when he was playing a rival series because he could have been on an RLCS team at that same time.
No,
What?
it's not. What?
No.
He could have been
What?
picked. He could have been joined. He could have been picked up by an RLCS team in
Delusional.
the same year that he was eligible to play on a rival series team. How is that
Okay.
so hard to grasp?
RLCS and RLCS are two different things. RRS is
they're
not
in the
counted as
same league.
RLCS. No, it's not.
They're
No,
not
it's
the
not.
same.
No,
They're
it's not
so
the
what's
same.
the point? Okay,
Those are
so
two-
you
those are not the same
so
things.
promotion, relegation, qualifying just didn't. That's just not a thing, right?
That's not
those
the
two aren't
RLCS because
conjoined.
you're trying to promote into the RLCS, which in essence makes it clear that rival series and RLCS are two different things.
It doesn't
So you're
matter
trying to
though. It
promote
doesn't
into
matter
it.
though. If he's old enough to play in the RLCS and he was that good, why was he not joining an RLCS team when he was eligible? Like what?
It doesn't. Okay, to be fair though, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. We're talking about RL history, right?
Yeah, RL
Not-
history includes rock. The question
Includes rival series. What you
RL
mean?
history means RLCS. That's what that means. Nobody.
Well, hang on,
Nobody's
back
talking
on that.
about rival series in this equation. Like
Okay.
RL
I
history.
mean, I agree with you there, but I'm
Yeah,
saying
like,
like
what-
RL history does include things like rival
Yeah,
series.
but rival series isn't the league. That's G League. You don't
Oh,
count.
yeah,
some,
I hear you.
Yeah,
I
like,
agree
for
with the point you're
example-
trying to make. Bates. I'm
Example:
just-
basketball people know Scoot Henderson plays in the and whatever the league is underneath the NBA right now. That's not his rookie season. It's gonna be after he gets drafted this month in June. Thank
Okay.
you. That's his rookie season. What? Like, come on now. Like, that's so clear. Your rookie season in baseball isn't when you play AA. It's when you play in the MLB. Thank you very much.
I guess this is the MLB. That's such a terrible thing. Like,
Oh,
what?
gosh.
The
Oh, God.
MLB? At least
Your
have like
rookies-
a better
okay.
analogy.
Anyways.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Anyways. Look, I'll even entertain you. I'll take Justin out of the equation, even though he's so clearly higher than him. Psycho, I'm undisputed. Can't match him. We can't match him, right? No one ever will. Unless Zen wins the world championship. Argue me, riddle me that. Because I don't need to talk about Justin thing. You just blew my mind with that RS being oh gosh. But didn't Justin win rookie of the year in season 5? Was there a rookie of the
Yes.
year?
Yeah,
Oh,
I think so.
So explain that to me tomorrow.
He
Explain
made the
that to me
grand
tomorrow.
finals. Like, what are you talking about? That's not my point. My point
No,
was
he
the
won
age
rookie
thing.
of the year,
In season 5, right?
which was yeah.
They say
Oh, I
it's
see what you're
rookie,
saying.
yeah.
That's so dumb. I just find that dumb, though. That's what,
It's okay.
regardless, I just find that
It's
dumb.
okay.
That's
okay.
one argument.
That's so stupid to me.
God dang, you actually got me sweating
don't like
at 2 p.m. You actually got me sweating by that nonsensical argument you just made.
Oh, that's so
Anyways,
dumb.
You can see the sign
anyway.
that says "Stop here."
Like,
Anyway.
I'll agree with you that
Yeah,
I
Seiko
like
is.
that so much.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Jorby.
I do think that Seiko is the only other player you could compare Zen
Not
to.
Justin?
Well, like I was saying, the only reason I said Justin was because like I was thinking of like farther back players, and I had I regularly forget about Seiko's spring run, and then obviously subsequent world championship win. I think
And
that,
the fall run.
and the fall run. You're right. When he was on endpoint, like extremely impressive. Right.
That's right.
I think in this split, like Corelli is saying, like I don't think that. I think that Zen has performed incredibly so, and it isn't just that I was considering. And I know that you just said that Rocket League history, you're only considering RLCS, but no player did what Zen did in the 1v1 realm and beat every single top 1v1 player in a row, and only dropping to Roas, who is individually in 1v1
Scrub?
every bit as good as him. But the level of play that Zen is at is simply just different than when Scrub or even Fairy Peak were dominating the one scene back in the day.
It's just proportional to the time.
Well, no, I'm saying that what I'm saying is that like back then it's just so hard to compare anything in the old era. I don't like comparing old era to new era because like it's just a completely different format. It was completely closed. The development of players wasn't nearly as good as it is today. I don't think it's fair to compare the eras and compare play between them. I think that, you know, starting from RLCS 21, I mean, RLCS X is kind of like an anomaly to me because there were no LANs, but Zen's 1v1 run up to the moment he got unbanned was unlike anything we've ever seen from any player ever, including back in the day of the 1v1 kings, like the Fairies, like the Scrubs. If you want to compare old era, it's still more impressive than that. And then he goes in and everyone's like, okay, that's cool, but let's see you do it in 3v3. 3v3 is different. Bam, did it in 3v3. Bam, did it in 3v3 again. Bam, did it in 3v3 again. So at what point? What does Zen have to do to prove that this is more impressive than Seiko?
Win the world championship like Seiko did.
Listen. No. I agree. I need Zen to win a LAN for sure. I'm with you on that.
That's fair. That's fair.
But if we're talking about is Zen the most impactful rookie in RL history, in Rocket League history, not in RLCS?
Oh, the answer still no.
Is yes.
Over Justin?
Yeah.
How? Explain it to me.
What'd he say? He cut out.
He said explain it to
his mic.
Oh, it sounds like when you defeat a boss.
Well, I don't understand the argument for Justin. I actually don't.
Well, Justin was the best player in the world.
Okay, but we're talking about impact.
Oh, you want to get impact? Justin definitely got. It's it.
I think
Seiko still beat him.
I think if it's impact,
but
it would be Justin Moore.
It'll be even more Justin. Like if you're talking specific impact, it's definitely Justin. Justin revolutionized the game.
I think I agree. I agree. But I think here's the thing. I think this conversation is too premature. I think this conversation is too premature.
I'm with you on that.
That's what I said.
Because we've got like 7 years of Justin, right? And you have a massive moment from Justin. Obviously, his impact was huge for NRG. But Justin joined a team that was already pretty successful.
Don't give me that nonsense. Zen joined Alpha. 54.
If anything, I think Seiko wins the argument. Seiko wins the argument. Wins Meta and Relating Wave and carries them to 2 victories and comes out of nowhere. Wins the world championship once he joins his established team of two really good players. Zen automatically joins Alpha and Verdosen.
Go ahead, Jack.
I was going to say, that's getting away from my point. Only thing I was going to say, though, is I think Zen, when you're talking about the totality of what Zen has done in all of his Rocket League career so far, I think it's a massive impact on the game because of what Jorby was saying earlier. When you talk about his 1v1 skill, what he's done in the 1v1 world, what he's done so far in the 3v3 world, which we're going to see continue, right? That's right. That's what I'm saying. I think it's a little premature at the moment. I'd really like, I think, having this discussion after the major.
Oh, after major.
Even after a major, I think you could start to really have a real discussion, because realistically, like when you talk about Justin, you talk about NRG, they're only playing like 7 games during league play, right? You know, Vitality's already played more than that team has domestically. So that, like Jorby was saying, it's really hard to really compare those. So for me, I'm looking at Zen and I'm saying right now he's looking like absolutely could be the most impactful player we've ever seen. That's yet to be seen, I think, in its totality, because we haven't actually seen him play at LAN yet.
That's right.
Against international competition. So the argument, it's just going to be pure speculation up until that point, which makes it useless.
No, it doesn't make it useless, because we had this. No, we had. No, you can't say that.
Wait, no, yes, you can. Yes, you can. Go ahead. Because why do you think Justin's great? What did Justin do that makes him so great?
Well,
what results did he get? What results did he get in season 5 that made him so great?
Of course, everybody's gonna bring up the shot and everything else.
No, not the shot. Not the shot. He got NRG, being the best player in the world, as you said, to an international LAN final.
He sure did. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, though. No, and I'm with you. That's not lead off. I might not lead over, so I apologize if I did not. I was gonna say this question. I said this question could change for me after, might probably be after Worlds, but for now, and the reason the question is useless now is you got people like Jorby who immediately up there say, "Of course, it's the most impactful," and you got to make sure you slow down that narrative. Because if you let people like Jorby go and run the big gaps around, then people are going to forget about the Justis. They're going to forget about the Seikos. Jack, not everybody's thinking of quizzically like you. See, Jorby, he's running with emotion. He's running emotion. He's got to fuel. He's trying to be furious. And for every single Jorby out there, there's about 10 million more of them who are just saying that too. So you got to bring it back into perspective. You got to hold on. He could be in a conversation, but he's not number one right now. It remains to be seen. And the question is a little unfair. I'm with you on that. I would say after Worlds still. I would say after Worlds still. I don't know about the major.
I think the question's unfair. We haven't seen lands from him yet. Seiko has a great argument, actually, now the more I think about it, because I hadn't thought about this question too much in regards to Seiko, but didn't he made like every land, right?
Made every land, was the best player in the game, won World's MVP, world champion.
He's gonna be tough to beat, I think, because I think he had lesser teammates than what NRG, Justin, and of course
Zen
what Zen has.
Initially.
Yeah. So
we'll see. It'll make the major already more interesting than it already is. Was really interesting. Speaking of the major, let's talk around the world, because we know the teams who are all locked in literally everywhere else except for North America. Europe, MENA, SAM, APAC, and OC are all locked in. North America will qualify this weekend to see which 5 teams will be representing NA. Of course, we're going to talk about that a little bit, but let's take a look at the standings. We'll just go standing by standing. We'll look at EU, MENA, and CM standings just to get you guys, those points overall. Vitality, BDS, Karmine Corp, Liquid, and Moist. I would say, just real quick, Jack, this got to be the strongest 5 teams Europe could have sent, right?
I think so, but I think a lot of people would want Hogan Mode in there. But I mean, especially when you're looking at like Moist, I think is a great team too. Like, no disrespect, but I do think though that top 4 is so rock solid from Europe right now. Like Team Liquid, they might be getting a little outshined by like what BDS has done lately, but realistically, Team Liquid has played some incredible series here in Europe. For me, this is for any region, but especially looking at North America, this is going to be a tough 5 to beat, because even those Moist boys, you got cash, man. You
got cash money, man.
I'm always believing in cash. I've never had my doubts about cash, and
especially
I
on land, that boy got perform.
I can't wait to see it.
Let's take a look at MENA standings here as well, because things are a little different this time around. Rule 1 ends up making it in place of Falcons, who have normally gone there. We've been talking about it over the course of the split, but I do want to get, Jorby, your thoughts on Rule 1 representing MENA here.
Yes, finally, we get the endemic org at a LAN. Let's go. I am so excited to have a Rocket League endemic Rule 1 at LAN, but I also love watching all 3 of these players play. I think that they have been major ready for some time now. Obviously, with only 1 spot, that makes things extremely difficult to a team to make the major, but they held off this time. And there were a couple other contenders in MENA too, like Twisted Minds was looking like they might do something for a little bit, but it is impressive that Rule 1 have been able to overcome what has been killing them the last couple of tries that they've had, and that's finishing the tournament. And they looked really good doing it. I really like this team. I think that this team is a sleeper. I do feel like a lot of people are going to sleep a little bit on this team due to how Falcons have performed in the last few majors. And so I think they're going to surprise a lot of people because of that. I don't think they're going to surprise me. I think that I actually think they have a pretty decent bracket path too. Like Rule 1 could do, or I think they're going to do some real damage in this tournament. They're up against Crew first, which I think is a good first matchup for them. As much as I love Sam, I actually think Rule 1 do have advantage in that matchup just from the talent level alone. Like on paper, I would pick Rule 1 there. Like this team is really good, and people should have their eyes on them in Boston.
Can I pose a very speculative question to the group here?
Okay.
So, and I'm just asking this question because I see a lot of talk about Rule 1. I have no feelings towards Rule 1. I like them. I'm just asking. Every time I see like a MENA team fall, every time I see international conversations, people are always chucking in Rule 1, saying Rule 1 would have beat them, or Rule 1 would put up a good fight. So, if Rule 1 goes to major, pure speculation. They go to major. That's not speculative. They are going to major. They go to major, and then they do poorly. Have they been overrated by their domestic success by the community? If they do poorly. Because every time I hear it, every time I talk or hear about Mina, I always hear, and I think, by the way, I think Rule 1's probably going to do pretty well. But I just feel like I hear a lot about, well, Rule 1 would have done X. Rule 1 would have beaten them.
To put this into perspective, Falcons' major finishes have been, I believe, for both 9th through 12th. I'm going to fact check that right now, but I'm pretty sure I've had this conversation before. 9th through 12th was the finish in winter, and in fall, it was 12th through 14th. So Rule 1, in my opinion, have to do better than 9th through 12th. Judging on their bracket, and we had this conversation before, because I remember I looked at our Reddit thread where it's like the day... the topic Reddit thread or whatever, where people talk during the show. And John AK always was just like, crew being skipped over round 1 is blasphemous. Sorry, John. I was just saying it real quick. But that being said, I do think Rule 1 have
This man reads everything.
I do. I try to. Rule 1 going up against crew, and then they drop down if they play upper bracket quarterfinals against either BDS or NA5. If they lose that, they go to a matchup where they play, assuming if top seeds win, then let's say NA beats Power and NA beats Ground Zero. Then they're going to play the winner of Power Ground Zero, which automatically is going to put them into like a 9th through 12th spot. So I don't really feel like they would have to really underperform for that kind of narrative to be pushed, in my opinion.
I also don't know if I buy like an argument that I think people would make in Corelli's hypothetical scenario is people say first land jitters. I also think, we need context for how Rule 1 end up losing. I do think the context matters as to what the opinion will be. But like this team has already played on LAN. Granted, a smaller LAN, Saudi E-League, is different, right, than RLCS, but it's still LAN experience. And that LAN experience, look at what Falcons did in their very first tournament when they made RLCS. They made it the whole way to the grand finals and made history. So I think that it would be a disappointment if they went like 0-2 out in the tournament, because I'm not giving them the first LAN excuse.
Excuses.
I'm not giving that excuse for them. I don't think they would give themselves that excuse either.
That's right.
And I do think that team is good enough to do damage. So if they don't, like, that is going to be a disappointment from how I personally view the team, at least, and also how other people have talked about it. Because who was it, Daz? You were saying that this, like, oh no, Corelli, you were saying like, oh yeah, Rule 1 should beat this team or this team, and I think because of that narrative, it would be a disappointment for them, and I don't think there is an excuse.
Minimum top 8.
I think they have good claim to a top 8. I just want to say what Jorby's saying too. Like I think if anything, they have an advantage with the amount of lands and experience that they might have had in Saudi Arabia. Yeah, it's different. Don't get me wrong.
It is different.
Like a major is different. You're going to be in a different country. You're going to be in a different setting, different culture. Like it's
different
gonna be
hemisphere.
Different. Yeah, everything's going to be different.
Wait, is it a different hemisphere?
But it's going to be, they're. I mean, a lot of players from NA and EU, they don't get any lands at all. It's like it's this unless you're playing like in CRL lands. Like that's about it.
It's true.
Yeah, so,
but for the record, I do think Rule 1's good. I was just posing the question because I see a lot of talk about.
I think it's
that.
a good question. Yeah.
There's an Eastern Hemisphere, right?
I knew this was gonna
What's he
come
talking
back.
about?
Bates is really confused about the Earth and the hemispheres.
He said, after he had said they're gonna be in a different hemisphere, like, you kept going crazy, but he said, are they in a different hemisphere? You can just see his brain just trying to like think it and figure it out.
Man sitting in front of his computer, he could Google it so quick, but no, I'm gonna sit here and think about it.
We're in the Western Hemisphere, baby.
Yes, we are in the
For
Western
your
Hemisphere.
what is
Okay,
that
yeah,
hemisphere?
I know, but I just had like an absolute like brain malfunction. I was like, is there just I don't know. I just thought that for a second my brain just pondered and said it's just a northern and southern hemisphere. But of course, there's 4 of them. So yeah, that's a good one.
There are
Okay.
4 hemispheres.
That being said, we had touched on crew a little bit. I do want to touch on the SAM teams going, and I want to talk about the SAM standings because it's a little different this time. We have NIP going, Jorby. Of course, I'm going to go to you, Mr. Sam himself.
Yes,
How do you
sir.
feel about the region, who they're sending to represent the region in Boston here?
Based on how the gameplay has gone, this split in particular, I think they're sending their 2 best teams. I think Ninjas in Pajamas, they added Mata, dropped Kaio. Pour out one for my boy Kaio. But Mata has come in and has played extremely well. He looks really good. Bems looking solid. Astramic, same as usual. Team Secret, the most notable, not making it. This is their first LAN that they are missing since Stockholm. They didn't make it to Stockholm, but they made every other major and World Championships since then. So they miss out this time. We won't see that immaculate defense, but I do think that Crew and Ninjas in Pajamas had the better split. They looked like the better teams. South America are absolutely bringing their best. And it was a little closer than the final point standings are even showing. I mean, W7M were close. They keep getting top 4s, but like there's something about these teams that they all have major experience now. You're talking NIP, Crew, and Team Secret. All 3 of those teams have players with LAN experience. It's getting a lot harder to be consistent against those teams. Exceed notably back to their 10th, 12th selves that they were back in fall. They weren't able to get anything done against these teams this split. So South America kind of going a little different this split. You have a strong top 3, and I do think the 2 better ones are going.
Wait a second, Jorby. That was a great analysis of Sam. But I'm getting information that Eastern and Western hemispheres don't actually exist, which means I knew I was on the money. I knew I was on the money. I knew I was. I knew I was.
I'm looking at this conversation.
I knew I was. I knew I was. Yeah. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. It made sense in my brain. Yeah.
To be fair, there's infinite amount of hemispheres. There's infinite amount.
It's true. When we get to the higher dimensions, the hemispheres exponentially increase.
But doubling back here, I think this is also something that's very important, Jorby, because Sam are in a good spot right now in terms of world spots. Yes, Secret are out, but Secret are also in danger of not going to the World Championship if Sam has a poor performance because they haven't locked their spots in yet. They're sitting in 5th right now with 34. And to put in reference, at the top, EU and NA1 are tied at 64 points. And at the 8th spot, NA4 is sitting at 24 points. If World Championship were to happen today, Secret would go as the 3rd place team in SAM. But EU would have 3 teams in main event, and they would have 4 teams in main event. And then, of course, you have your wildcard teams here and there. So I think I think Sam getting that spot is definitely important because if they don't have a good major and they bomb out early, they lose those spots to NA and EU, and maybe even OCE coming up, then there's a chance that Secret don't go to the World Championship.
Yeah, they need a really good performance out of Crew and Ninjas in Pajamas. Sam 3 sitting pretty low on that list, so I think it's going to be hard because, like I said, the bracket it's not really panning out well for Sam teams this time around. Crew plays against Rule 1. Which is going to be a difficult matchup for them, no doubt. And then I'm trying to pull it back up. Who are Ninjas in Pajamas playing? Scrolling right back down. It is
Karmine Corp.
Karmine Corp. So good luck. Have fun. It's very. I love my Sam boys, and I think Crew can beat Rule 1. They absolutely can. Ninjas in Pajamas though against Karmine. I'm sorry. I don't think there's any amount of hopium that I have. Like, that would be the craziest. The only thing I can say for NIP is that's best of 5, but it's very likely both SAM teams start in the lower bracket, and that's going to make life difficult for Team Secret. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. We will see. But there's been other people in the world who've had difficult lives, and those are the people who end up losing out on First Class. Guess what? First Class is coming back. I'm gonna get suited up. Summer school is about to be in. That thumbnail picture, is that Reynolds getting pie? God, that is a quality photo. Sorry, I just had to look at that.
You straight up cannot see his face.
Yeah, you can't see his face. Summer school is about to be in session. We announced the first class. Is that Jack? I mean, how am I supposed to tell? Is it because of? Yeah, I don't know. That being said. Actually, we can look because we have a pie video. Tweet at First Touch RL to let us know who you'd like to see on the show, who have a potential chance of getting pie, or who could be one of the smartest out of us all. Let's take a look at the video. Well. Listen, we did first class a while ago. We said it. The winner gets to pie the loser. I got a winner here right now, Stumpy.
Oh, yeah.
And the loser here, Jack.
Oh,
respectable loser, but he still lost.
Oh, yeah.
Jack, any final words?
For the content.
For the content. Stumpy, are you ready?
For the content.
Oh my God!
Okay, that's fine.
When you show up for first class, you better make sure you know your stuff. Professor DeBab's always watching. Don't worry, we'll get Reynolds next. We gotta clean Jack up. Toodaloo!
Here.
Welcome back. We've already pied one. I had to bring in Principal Bates for pie number 2. Bates, couldn't let you miss this one.
That's right, I could have missed this one. I thought I had a student who might know a little bit of knowledge, but apparently the high school education in Virginia, not enough. And he's gonna have to be served a little bit of pie to end off the day.
My main man, Wavy P, is gonna be delivering this pie today. Wavy P, congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
That's actually incredible. He couldn't answer any questions during the class.
Absolutely.
Absolutely fraudulent win.
Absolutely. Mr. Slater, any final words?
I deserve this. I did know the difference between accept and accept.
Slater, 1, 2, toodaloo. Oh, not the slow one. Oh, goodness. Oh, yeah. Oh. Now listen, we've got 2 folks pied on first class. Now, will there be more pies? You have to stay tuned to the next first class to see if that's the case.
There's gonna be more pie.
I'm so sorry, bro.
On that note, 1, 2, toodaloo. Toodaloo, Professor DeBab. We'll see you soon. We'll see you soon, and we'll see more pies coming in. You're right, that was Jack. God, that was awful.
I'm glad
But
that
man-
Reynolds proved that NA is better than EU because NA proved that they get down dirty. They don't care if they get a bunch of pie cream all over their shirt the whole way down. Look, it doesn't matter. Jack, what is all that protection equipment, bro? It's pie. What are you scared of? Come on now. What are we doing, guys? Take the pie.
Don't
Eat the
worry.
pie.
I will say that who won last time? Well, Jack was
Wave,
gonna win.
Stumpy.
Jack was gonna win. Oh yeah, but Wave. But Wave went off the memes though. How did Wave catch up?
Because I think Jack bet
it was
all
gonna
the
be
points,
Jack.
right?
Oh yeah, it was gonna be Jack and Stumpy. I will say that Principal Bates will be participating this time. And we all know that's gonna go. That's a W for America. That's one thing I'm confident in winning.
Man,
I'm not
getting
losing
pied.
nobody. I'm not losing. Well, I only get pied by my own foolish.
Oh, okay.
And that's
Yeah.
not.
That's right. Professor DeBab will be back, of course, and we'll have a gym coach Diz. He'll be here with us as well to be helping us, take control of all the contestants. But we need to figure out who the contestants are. So let us know who you think we should get for summer school at First Touch RL on Twitter. Let us know. But again, listen, First Touch, we're doing the classes. We're talking about that. Like we said, we got Coach Diz who's helping us out in the gym, and my goodness, he took me and Bates into the weight room. He showed us some stuff. We ended up showing our stuff on the draw this past weekend, a weekend or 2 ago. First Touch ended up competing in the draw. And, just like we talk about all these players, and I think somebody said, earlier in the show, you got to let the gameplay speak for itself. Let's just let the gameplay.
Well, before we do that, let's set the place. So we were going up against people who were 2,200 in ranked.
2K
That's
MMR.
all I gotta say. And based on pay. Based on play no more. I'm retired.
2K MMR. Raul got 10 hours. Bates.
I can't
so
play.
you
I
say
have
he don't
been
play
playing
no
last
more.
like month. I have been
and
playing last like month.
Everybody always calls me the worst one. So there's your.
that's facts.
There's your stage set there. Can we just roll the tape? Let's just roll the tape.
Hopefully it might be up.
Hit him. Careful.
Across?
Oh, he's shooting.
Wait, where's the...
And he's behind you.
Yeah,
All
alright.
Nice. I'll go roll.
I need help.
Bro. All right, you got it.
Yep.
That's you.
All right, wait a second. Mid.
I'll be over him. Good speed.
Nice,
baby!
Come on, baby!
Come on, baby!
That's what we're talking about!
That's the speed, baby! Put him in!
Come on, here we go.
Nice. Smack. You went backwards.
That's us.
Oh,
Go
that's not
panic,
good.
go panic, go panic.
I'm up.
50 him.
50.
Finish.
Nice, bro! Let's go!
Come on!
The weight room!
You small boys!
You little
Small boys! Come on! Come on!
That's what we like to see. One more. One more.
Roll and beat. I'm coming back. He's on.
One there.
Nice.
Yep, 50. Shot. Double shot.
Bro, he just slings it top right, bro. What?
I tried.
Bumped them off.
Oh, it might beat me. Oh, I bought it. Dumb challenge. My bad.
It's okay.
330. We fat. We fine.
Nice. That's grab left mid.
I'll turn.
Yep,
Go.
Yep. Beat,
One touch.
Nice. Smacked is super
It's awkward.
Nice.
I guess it's
Good
just
boost
it. I
star,
guess
good
it's just
boost
it. Let's
star.
go.
Yeah, we just drain them, bro. Just keep taking their boost and demo.
All right.
Took our corner.
Drips.
Dribs up.
Back passing.
No good touch.
Make it.
Hey. Oh, good try.
Try.
I'm middle.
I'm
Full.
putting it back mid.
Oh, it's empty.
He's awkward.
Yes, sir, baby!
Oh,
Come on!
That's what I'm talking
Look
about.
the valve up there!
I'm watching clear.
Yep, I'm on.
Yep, I'm waiting behind you.
Nice. I'm dead, roll. Shot.
I got it.
Go,
Let's go,
baby! They
Come on,
demoed
man.
me all the way in the back for some reason. I got snipers up front.
Beat.
Yeah. Shot.
That.
Sling it.
Get in there. Get in there.
Stop. Please.
Oh!
Please.
Stop the bleeding!
Stop feeding me.
Stop the bleeding! I'm cheated. I'm not done
Oh
yet,
my gosh, it's
baby!
free, bro.
Come
Oh
on,
Oh my
the
god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Free, get out.
You play this game how long? Man, get out of here.
It's out.
I'm behind you.
Over me.
More. Nice. Smack.
Yep.
Up.
Yep.
Empty.
Good beat. Back mid.
Oh my days.
Try to bump him.
Oh my god. It's just free. It's just free.
Game no more, bro.
I'm 27, baby. Come on now.
Who said
game.
age is a factor? Our average age is 26. We still got a little bit in the tank.
No shot, bro.
Oh my
Our
god.
average age is 26.
Oh my god.
All right, it's game over. I'm sitting still.
Bro, they
You
just
let
sent
me
they just
top
send a
the
man on a
board?
mission.
You let me top the board. It's time to put the sticks up.
2, 1, 2.
What
Wait,
can
what
I
is
say?
it?
Wait, what is that at the end? Yo. Calm down,
We
calm
missed
down.
that. They missed that too. Yeah, your chat was
Yeah,
not
I
looking.
didn't see it. I didn't see it.
Chat wasn't looking.
Listen, all I gotta say is Rizzo was in the chat and he said, my bad, I didn't know your game. Also, I won some canes off of Rizzo because of that series. He didn't expect us to win. Everybody in the chat was doubting us. Doesn't matter. That's what does it. That's what happens when we're on low hours. Imagine once we start playing.
Oh my god.
Chalkcast? That's a
Oh my
sweep. I'm bringing out the broom. I'm
Oh
bringing
my
out the broom against Chalkcast. It's not easy. I'm rocking a baby against them. Come on now. Come on.
So wait, Daz, does this mean that you're going to even our 1v1 score and finally
Here
face
we
the-
go again. Here we go.
sounds
I'm
like a
just
show
saying, you
match.
lost the last one. I'm just
That sounds like a
Jorby.
show match on Johnny's stream. We need to make it happen.
Listen, we can run it. Johnny did show match. Listen, last time I put money on it. Jorby backed down. He
No,
wasn't
no,
ready
no,
for
no,
it.
no. You whipped your wallet out to make sure that I couldn't participate.
No,
You
because the
paywalled me,
lights
bro.
were too
You
bright. The
paywalled me.
lights were
Because
too
you
bright.
knew that I couldn't
That's
put up
all
that
I
kind of
know.
money.
The lights were too bright. I was ready.
That's terrible.
I was like,
That is
you want me to
wild.
sweat? Okay, I got you with the sweat. Give me some pressure.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Listen, all I'm saying is they should have never let me win those games because now I'm in the lab. I'm about to do some grinding, and my God, I'm ready. Like we said, Chalk's been real quiet. They've been, I don't. Well, to be fair, they all are different places in the world, but I haven't seen them play together, and I don't know when. They need to get into the lab because we need to see something from them. I haven't seen anything from them. I mean, Raul, obviously, you know, you had a great view of the action. What did you think of everything?
It's kind of expected. I wanted us to win. Like, obviously, it says that we lost like the next series, and we should have won, but we just got out to a little slow start, and then And, you know,
The other team played pretty well. I can't say we should have won. They played well.
No, but like I think we played the later half of that series. We definitely come out victorious there. Regardless of that, if Dazarin plays like he played that day, Chalkcast don't have a chance. Team Twitter, don't talk to us. Like no content team has a chance against us. I'm sorry. It just is what it is.
Man, that was a good day. I enjoyed that. Sorry, I need
Also,
to sit there.
and Damar had to play well. Cause Corelli, he's on the bench. He's on the bench. He's ready to get his starter minutes.
He showed up at the beginning before the match started. He's like, what did Bay say? He said, yeah, he's in the first touch club. I said, what? He's in the club?
I'm in the club.
How did he get into the club?
Jack's ready to get his minutes in if needed.
I'm ready.
He said he was sitting on standby. I said, no. I felt like Renault said, I'm fighting for my spot.
That means I'm Zen. I like that.
Listen, take it for what it is. But that being said, though, this is something that opens up another lane of conversation because we're beating 2K MMR players. We have people in the chat like, yo, these guys are really good. This person, Schmacked, was one of the people that we ended up beating. He's like a great bubble player. He's been in the game for a long time. And we're winning series off of them. And we made it to like the qualifying match to get to into day 2 of the quals for the draw when like we're all great, but we were out of practice. It just feels like these people who are in practice for so long should have done better, even in something that's like this in a qualifier, which is going to lead me to my next question or the next topic here, which is bubble trouble. Because the topic is, why is it so hard to make it in North America?
Oh, boy.
I want to go back to the AJ tweet. I'm going to pull it up. And we don't have it here on the graphics, but I can read it. Basically, Rise made a tweet. Because AJ said, what's the NA equivalent of Hogan Mode? Rise said, there isn't one. Our regions aren't the same. AJ says, I agree. 80% of NA pros are not up to par. And then Rise said, honestly, it feels like NA is the same recycled average players who always end up teaming and making the numbers in regionals, whereas in Europe, any team can make a deep run. I have no idea why that is. I think that NA mentality seriously needs to change. And then AJ had quote tweeted it saying, Rise is right. There's pros who don't even care about winning, just collecting salary and knowing they will get picked up by a new team once they're kicked. It's just recycled players not caring about improving or winning.
Wait, who said that? Who said that the players are just there to collect a paycheck?
AJ.
Is that Rise? Oh, AJ said that? Okay.
Yeah, AJ ended up saying that. There was another tweet, I believe I saw CJ link it somewhere, about the difference in pros in regional events, but someone else, Pelican, said, I was curious a few weeks ago, so I decided to count. And direct fact check me if this is wrong, but this is what he said. Out of the top 10 teams in Europe, 2 players had played in RLCS before RLCS X. In NA, the number was 17. There's definitely a difference here in terms of why it's so hard to make it in it. I want to start this one off with Roll This, because I mean, you've seen things kind of change over the course of the years as a player, especially how, 6-mans was kind of a thing back in the day, and then now how things are in this particular, like what's kind of like your take on all of this?
I heard that there was terminology going around for North America. North America is a friend group region, and as I think just in the sense of that terminology, it kind of is true. When you look at over at Europe, there's different countries and different language barriers that keeps those separate players from being like best friends and stuff like that. As in America, you don't have that. Everyone speaks English, so it's kind of easier for them to be friends. Another thing that I do think that bubble players don't get given a chance at all. I've said this last week with Garrett G, and Garrett was saying that a big problem with this is that the bubble players don't tend to beat top teams, which is why they don't get chances. And in my eyes, it's like Chronic gets picked up by 2 European players that move over to North America, and they become one of the best teams in the region. This is just a testament that we do have talent in our region, young talent, but they're not getting enough practice or play against top teams. When a young talent gets a chance taken on them on a top team and gets that individual, that team practice at the top level of 3v3, he improves drastically. It doesn't take too long. This is exactly what happened with RLRS. If a Prodigy team comes up in RLRS, they start getting those practices against those top teams, and those players improve drastically, and they become top talents in RLCS. It happens in Europe, and it's happening so frequently that we're getting new talent in Europe, but in NA, it's obviously a problem. And I don't think top players, when everyone's in win now mode, I don't think top teams want to give bubble talent a chance to prove themselves, or we feel like we don't have the time because everybody's trying to win the next regional, trying to win a major. So they're just comfortable with the top talents that they know can perform, or perform averagely to Rise's context. So I just think our young talent's not given a chance.
I don't think there's like a, I don't think it's the responsibility of top teams to help these bubble players out. I think if you're a player that is more minded on like the health of the league, and I do think there is a benefit for top teams to play these teams, but I understand, and I think the logic is good why you don't. It's just that the organized play, we're just starting to see more organized play where it pits bubble teams against top level teams, right? I mean, the draw is an example. Hercules has been running her new era series, and there's been a couple of other things in NA. But these are recent things, and these take time. I know that like when I've tried to get players together for a match, and I try to do like a deliberate slight mismatch, I've gotten pushback from RLCS teams at times because the team or the players that I want to put them up against are, quote, just 2s ranked warriors, or, quote, don't have RLCS experience. And I've gotten this more than once. So like I understand why players feel that way. I think those top teams just need something something worthwhile to play in, that have those bubble teams in them, because it never should be on the top teams. It's great that Europe have the culture that they do around this. Obviously, it's benefited the entire region greatly. NA just doesn't have that. Like, NA just has a different culture struggle, and I think as more organized play comes around and more top teams are participating in those things, because there is organized play for bubble teams. They all play each other in these tournaments, but there usually isn't top team participation. That's the biggest thing, right? So like, I just don't think like, top teams giving bubble players a chance is not the answer. The answer is just getting that organized play and baiting top teams into playing your tournament, as I see it, because it is a problem. And the whole import thing with import teams coming in and doing really well immediately, and a lot of the native players feeling the pain from that, being like, it's already hard enough to get scrims from like native top teams. Now these import teams are coming in, also not scrimming us, and lock us out even farther. So it almost feels like a snowball effect, right? The talent development in NA has been pretty weak up until I think recently. There's been a push for it.
I actually don't think it's as hard as people are making out to make it in NA. Or at least for yourself. Like, it's not hard to show your individual talent now. Whether or not people decide to pick you up is a completely different discussion. So I guess that's where the difficulty lies. But I really don't think it's that hard. I think it comes down to how people want to play the game, and how they refuse to differentiate themselves, and how players are just of the mindset that they always have to go for clips and resets and constantly be going for solo plays and 2s. If you know that 2s is the way to put yourself on the map, more so than everything else nowadays, which is a conversation for a different day, whether that's a good thing or not, then utilize your individual talent to get to X rank where you're in lobbies with the pros, and then play an actual team-based game and not care about getting with them and to where they enjoy playing with you. So then you get the opportunity to actually play with them, add to the friend list or something along those type of lines. They want to play you all the time. That puts you on the map. And then from there, I mean, at that point, it's out of your control, I guess. But it's just all about teamwork. Everybody just wants to play solo, individual. When everybody's doing that, it's hard to distinguish who's actually good at the game. And it just makes you seem as if you're not as good as you want to be. And I also think that messes with the overall skill, the overall NA skill as well. We just don't use teamwork no more. A lot of teams don't. A lot of it is solo. It's easy to beat at this point. 50s, clean Rocket League beats up in the air all the time. trying to make something happen. We're seeing it happening all across Europe, and unless NA starts changing that, then it's gonna be a problem. So I think that's the main issue. Just making sure that when you're grinding, you actually want to utilize your teammates and play a team-based game at the highest level rather than just going for it all by yourself. Because I don't think that is what people are looking for anymore.
I feel like NA just wants the safe option in a lot of cases. But I don't know. Like for me, I don't. That's like this issue. No amount of like bubble tournaments, no amount of like really any tournaments is really going to solve it. This is something that pros have to figure out themselves.
Yeah.
Like this is not something that any tournament organizer that Psionics can figure out for you. Like if you're going to take a chance, take a chance. If not, like continue to be mid. Like
might need to have scouts.
What's that?
Organizations might need to start hiring some scouts.
Well, that's okay. That's a different topic, and that's definitely true. But
if you start hiring some scouts, I think it's a little bit more different.
I think it's just like I just don't get the logic of Bates. Like with what you're saying is like if you know 2v2 is the way to get up and go and like get to that next step and then play the team game. It's like but they run into a wall at that point because RLCS. NA RLCS pros, some NA RLCS pros, I'm not going to put all of you in this bucket, but like they still don't consider you, even if they're getting beat in ranked by them all the time. I guess pros don't like that. They don't like getting beat by ranked warriors, so I imagine that plays into it. But like, I don't understand that logic. If a player's beating you in ranked all the time, like instead of you coming up with every excuse in the world as to why it was you losing and him win and like only him not losing, you know what I mean? Like, at what point? I don't know how NA pros change their mentality around that because I feel like the safe option is going to always be the option. You're always going to pick the person that has RLCS experience because it is the safer option. Like to me, it just sounds like NA is doomed at that point because there aren't enough players with the correct mentality.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Well, it's a. That's why I brought up the scout thing because you want to take that having to search for your name off the table from the player for the most part, in my opinion. That's not player's job, and then I also just mess with the chemistry. If I go into ranked, even though I have an already solidified team, I'm going to ranked scouting other people. That's just all messy. That's just all messy. That's too much going on. So that's why you hire potentially a scout or something like that. But then also in the event, and I think a lot of people don't. For some of the egotistical pros, you got to take them out of the equation. But the ones who are a little more fair-minded, they don't like losing. I'm not gonna say they. I feel as if they. I feel as if the issue with losing in ranked is when people are just playing quote unquote not thinking or anything like, and they're just going for some insane plays and they're working out. They're working out rather than it actually. Oh wow, he actually made a really good play right there. And that's a pass middle or something. He really outplayed me. And if that consistently happens and you're consistently winning while doing that, not only are you going to get ridiculously high, but the players who are actually fair-minded and actually care about winning Rocket League at the highest level, they're going to put you on a tab probably.
So if there are a bunch of fair-minded pros out there, does that mean that there's a potential reality here that we haven't said, which is the NA talent pool just not that good? Like
the NA talent pool is good. I think people just don't play Rocket League correctly, unfortunately.
But do the pros think that? Do the pros think the NA talent is not that good? Because pros clearly have a criteria they want to see, and none of these NA bubble players are meeting the criteria. Like none of them, or are they being tried out? Because I'm hearing two different things. I hear some pros say that they are trying some players out, and then I hear those players say that they weren't tried out, or like there's a lot of political drama going on in between the lines with a lot of these players. So like at least from the public end of it, like you guys definitely know more about the dynamics. Bates rolled his Daz, but like about what goes on behind the scenes. But I know that politics keeps a lot of these players out too. So like like the ego problem, from what I understand, isn't just at the top teams. There's an ego problem with people who are at the bottom of the main event too. So like I don't know. Like is every pro just deciding that they've looked and they've decided, you know what, I really just don't think you're that good.
That's why I differentiate from everybody as well. I also believe that players have significantly too much say over their rosters. But then also on the other end of that stick is that if you get the organizations too much say, then I don't know about Rocket League. So I think you just gotta find that middle ground and hire people who actually care. I think coaches need more say in these type of talks. And I also think that organization needs to start hiring some talent scouts and something like that. People who know Rocket League and take that off, but still have that foundation and organizational backing to where they can make the proper moves to benefit the team. I think Rocket League is, as we continue to expand, needs to be taken from the players to some extent. Because players, like you said, also are going to look out for their friends, are going to look out for themselves. And then organizations are going to be, some are going to be foolish enough to just look at somebody's resume and be like, I want to pay him, when that person's resume might say one thing, but the skill in the current day is not matching. So it's just going to be a waste of money. There needs to be a combination there needs to be more people in the middle, in the middle that have say on the roster. And that would require esports organizations start paying a couple more people.
I'm with him on that. Only because I've seen some dumb roster moves like over the time. Like not more so today, but back in the day, man, I used to see roster moves being decided in Discord calls.
No, definitely still today.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying not as often today. But you're right. It is definitely still today. But it's just like, it's terrible. It's terrible. That being said, if an org does have the budget to hire somebody, make sure you hire the right people as well. Because again, that if you hire the wrong person just to be a scout, then
I'm so confident that I can make a really good Rocket League team right now. I'm so confident.
Name 3 players.
I'm not.
Name 3
why
players.
would I help organizations? No.
What do you mean?
I need somebody to
You're
come
not
back with first touch.
Come on. We just said how they're not going to listen to you.
First touch
Prove
esports,
your
make it
point,
happen,
Bates.
and I guarantee you I can make a roster in NA that's going to make the major every single time. I'm so confident in that. I'm so confident. I know who's good. I really do. I really do know.
Are you talking about
First touch
current
esports.
players on top teams already? Just on different on a teammates organization?
No, I can make a Hogan Mode. I can make a Hogan Mode.
You can make three unsigned players right now.
Name it right now.
Go.
Oh, 3 unsigned players?
That's what a Hogan
together.
mode would be.
It's a little different. I might have to take some people off of like the 7th, 8th, 19th, maybe. Get them on first touch esports. Get them on first touch esports. I can make it happen. I can make some careers happen. Listen,
All right.
investor, you come to first touch. We can do some business.
Oh man.
I have too many thoughts in my mind to think of a segue here. All right, let's go to Boston Bell. That just sounds really interesting. Let's go North American Boston major scenarios. It's time for the debabber in full screen. First, let me make sure I do my little check here. Check. Turn my green screen thing on. Ooh, I'm starting to look weird now. And then 1, 2. All right, we're gonna start from the bottom. Oh, wait, my headphones, they're getting stuck. Okay, we're gonna start from the bottom. I feel old, man.
No, you are,
You're getting
bro.
old.
I'm not old.
Bro, you're like 30.
You're getting old, bro.
You said you're
Don't say
27.
that.
That's
Please don't
old,
say
dude.
that.
That's
Stop.
pretty old, bro.
That's really old.
I
Late
am
20s, bro. Yikes.
And I still got it too. I ain't gonna
Imagine
lie.
being late
You ain't
20s.
got it
That's
yet.
so
I mean,
old.
that's
wild,
The
bro.
only
That's
thing you got is being
insane.
old. Now do
That's-
the data
like-
and hurry it up.
All right.
Imagine being over 25. That's crazy.
It's way too small. This is so scuffed. Yeah,
So it's
imagine
too
being
small?
over 25. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Average
age 26.
Oh, no,
Alright,
yeah.
that's
I don't think
crazy.
the average age is actually 26. I'm 24.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Data with Daz. No matter what, all these players are younger than us for the most part. Now, let's see which one can make a major team. We're talking about, again, the North American or the spring major. This NA regional is going to be wild. It really is. We're going to start from the bottom here with SUP, who, as you can see, are in 13th or 14th. They have 13 points total. They're going to need to win the regional and have a lot of help. SSG would have to bomb out. Optic would have to bomb out. FaZe, Gen G, 9th through 12th. Furia, 7th through 8th. G2 has to finish left in 6th. NRG 4th and Rebellion 4th or worse. And then tiebreakers are possible as well. If they get second, they lost. So they don't want that. Let's take a look at M80, who have 14 points, but there's like a big 3-way tie here. Basically, finish 3rd or worse means that toodaloo. No chances there for the major. But of course, if they win and have 6 more of these things happen, which again, top teams bombing out. You can see it 13th through 16th, V1 complexity, SSG, Optic, FaZe, Gen G finishing 9th through 12th. And then, of course, Rebellion, NRG, G2 finishing 4th or worse, along with Furia. Obviously, there's also tiebreaker situations there. They could make second, but they would need all of these things to happen and SUP to not win. So, kind of tough task here. Koi, same spot, literally same spot. exactly the same. Let's go to Dignitas. Oh, wow. Same spot because they're all tied for points. Things change, though, when you get to Rebellion here. Oh, goodness. Look, I even got to move over. Hold up. So, of course, if they win, they're in. For teams moving forward, wins and ends are going to be kind of a thing here. Now, if they have second, they need 5 or more of these things to happen. Again, same thing, top teams bombing out, and just other teams not winning. So you say 5 or more, second of 5 or more. 3 teams don't win, that's already 3, and then you need 2 top teams to not have a good event, which could technically be possible if they run into them early on in the bracket. The bracket's definitely going to be really interesting. Of course, things will happen if they finish in 3rd or 4th, but the road just gets that much harder. Top 2 is what they're looking at. NRG, I know a lot of people are looking at NRG. Again, they got that first round matchup against Furia. This is going to be the situation for them. They win, they're in. 5th, they're kind of in the same spot as Rebellion here, needing teams to again bomb out early. Again, they need 5 of these. 4 or 3 of them are already teams not winning, and then they need 2 more to happen. Optic finishing 5th or 6th, Gen G finishing 5th or 6th or worse, FaZe finishing. Some of these things are kind of reasonable here for NRG, but of course, the lower the placement, the harder the road. They at least have to make top 8 to even be in consideration of all of these conversations. So top 8 minimum for NRG. With the first round matchup against Furia, that's looking really tough. Let's look at G2. Similar situation as, let me check, they're only 1 point ahead of NRG. So for G2, having to win the regional, again, second, 5 or more, needing teams to kind of bomb out. But except this time, instead of having 5th or 6th, teams like FaZe, Gen G, if they finish top 4 or worse, it's a little bit easier there for G2. So G2 would have to have a really good tournament and then a lot of other things to kind of happen in their way. 3rd could also work here as well. Again, 5 or more, Furia, NRG, Shopify don't get the top 4. Then that'll help them out. And then, of course, 4th, you'll need 9 or more of these. It's just, again, top 8 minimum to be in consideration of this scenario. Don't look at this sheet if they haven't made it past top 8 yet. That's all I got to say. Furia, same situation as they are 2 points ahead. But actually, they got a little bit more breathing room here, Jorby. They clinch with a finish of 2nd or better. So, uppers, if they make it all the way through uppers, that would be great. They can make a lower run here. 9th through 12th. Is where you start looking at this sheet. Again, you can see it 7th and 8th with 9 more things happening. Same thing with 5th or 6th, but it gets a little bit more comfortable with the top 4 here. Again, G2, NRG, Rebellion finishing in X placement or worse. And then, of course, if a top team kind of bombs out, Furia has help. But if they finish 3rd, definitely a little bit more reasonable here. Lots of room to kind of work with here. These are, again, all on D-Rec sheet. If you guys, these should be public if you guys ever want to take a chance to look at them. D-Rec, of course, we'll be able to talk more about that. Jesus, dang, Gen G. All right, it's a lot going on here for Gen G Mobile One Racing. They clinched the major with a finish of 3rd or better. They'll clinch a major tiebreaker if they finish 3rd, 16th, and then just disaster happens in North America. 9th through 12th, they'll need 9 or more things to happen here. Again, teams not winning, or 4 teams not winning, some teams not doing well. 7th through 8th with a finish of with 5 or more teams just not necessarily doing super well, kind of similar situations as we've seen in the past. 5th or 6th with 5 or more, which kind of look a little bit realistic, just as some of them. And then finishing clinch major with 4th and 5 or more, which is a team's finishing 3rd or worse, not really finishing at all. Wow, I said that this was public and I saw more little dots pop up on the screen, so I'm glad you guys are checking this out. FaZe Clan. Same situation as Gen G. They are tied for points, so if you saw the Gen G scenarios, FaZe are going to look pretty similar to that. Let's move over to Optic, because Optic has just 1 point difference. How much of a difference does that make? It's not looking like it's too much, in all honesty. Seems pretty similar. Clinch major with a finish of 3rd or better. Of course, different scenarios happening versus different placements. So you do want to kind of keep your guys' eyes out on all these different finishes just to see where teams kind of end up overall. But same scenarios that we've kind of seen before. Now for SSG, they got 3 more points, and that kind of gives them a little cushion. Because again, if they finish 4th or better, then boom, they're into the major. Top 4 finish from SSG. They have made some good upper bracket runs before to put them in those positions. We'll see if those continue on. If they finish 5th or 6th, then they need help. They need 5 or more things to happen. Teams not making top 4s is going to be the biggest thing here. FaZe and Gen.G, if they don't make those top 4s, it'll help them out. Furia and G2 not making top 3 or finishing top 3 will help them out a lot. NRG Rebellion not winning, I mean, that's already 5 right there. So kind of in the realm of possibility here for SSG. It's looking really, they're more confident than most teams. But version 1, finish a major with 4 or better, clinches at least tiebreaker with 5th or 6th. So you're looking for a top 6 finish for version 1. As good as V1 are looking, I don't really think there's too much to worry about here. They put themselves in a good spot with the regional win, and they look to be still in form going into Friday. So these are the scenarios for V1. Obviously, the tiebreaker possible if they just bomb out, but there's still chances for them to clinch. And lastly, complexity. Kind of the same situation, actually the same situation as V1. So not too much to say there, but you can see it. There's just so much competition going on around the scenes. I'm going to close this. Thank you guys for joining Data with Daz, and I will see you on the next one. I don't know when that's going to be.
Well done.
Thank you.
Next season. Anyways, that was great. NA, a lot of teams can make it. And now it's time to get into, I don't know, we've been here for almost 2 hours. It's time to move this thing along. Base is tired. But more. Next segment.
All right. So we talked about it. Spice in round 1. We could do this real quick. Who will you keep your eyes on the NA round 1 matches? Which ones stick out to you guys here the most? Obviously, Jorby, I think you're just gonna be keeping your eyes glued to the monitor there with the Furia matchup. That's definitely one to keep my eyes on.
Yeah, obviously, you guys know where my eyes are going to be, but outside of Furia, I'm curious about Shopify Rebellion and how far they might go in this tournament. I think that they've been priming a little bit, and everyone's talking about 2-piece, and I mean, well-deserved. 2-piece has looked really good individually. I'm curious. I feel like they're one of those teams, if I'm picking an outside team to make a run, they're near the top of my list to make that run. I think they have impressive looks. Teams like M80 have taken a step back, so it kind of makes it gives an opening for them. And Optic Gaming, I think, is a great first round matchup for them. That's a great tester to tell us maybe they'll go on a run if they can take that first match down. I think that match is a lot closer than some might think.
Yep, I agree with that. Ben, next segment. Now it's time to get to the bracket. I'm trying to get out of here about 3 or close to it. There's the bracket at. It's time to get into it. We got a panel of 5, I believe. Is that correct? We do. We have a panel of 5. Listen, if you haven't done this before, now you're going to find out. We're going to basically, why does it still say Team Vitality? Get rid of that Vitality up there. Anyways, the point I'm making is we're doing a prediction bracket. Everybody's going to say who they think is going to win. And by the time this is over, you'll know the 5 teams from NA that are going to make it to the major. Direct, I hope you're watching to let us know who the 5 teams will make it if this ends up being such and such. Anyways, let's get this rolling. Are y'all ready?
Yep.
Let's go.
Yep.
All righty. FaZe G League.
FaZe.
Give me FaZe.
FaZe.
All right, Raul, we don't need your vote. FaZe wins that one. We're going to skip Fury Energy for now. G2 M80.
G2.
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 Why do you say it's so sad? V1.
Because I feel like we're not going to pick any upsets.
V1?
I mean, V1.
V1.
Okay. Complexity, Axel.
Complexity.
Okay. What?
Go ahead, Jack.
Oh, I got complexity here. Yeah. I'm not going Axel.
Oh, complexity. Easy. Anyways. Optic. So complexity wins that one. Optic, Shopify, Rebellion.
I'll stick with Rebellion here.
Optic.
I'll go Shopify.
Oh. I got Optic.
Asked for it, you got it.
I put too many chips down on Shopify to be fooled again. I'm going Optic.
There you go. That's the right answer. Give me
he
Optic.
asked for an upset.
The green wall. He asked for upset and then he didn't go that way. Gen.G going up against Sup.
Gen.G.
Gen.G.
Yeah, it's Gen.G.
Yeah, I think it's Gen.G as well.
Really
I think Sup's a good team too.
They're good, yeah.
Yes, sir.
SSG Dignitas.
SSG.
SSG.
Give me Space Station, baby.
Space Station indeed. All right, going all the way back up to the top. Furia NRG. Ooh.
Energy.
Bora, don't
Furia.
even mess with me.
Energy, energy, energy.
No! NRG, man!
There we go.
It's Furia, though. Well, whatever, bro. That was the wrong pick. NRG wins that. NRG wins that right there. All right. Furia going up against FaZe.
Furia.
Furia. It's best of 5, Furia.
It's Furia.
FaZe.
Go ahead, Bates.
Oh, FaZe, yeah.
All right, FaZe.
We're all automatic FaZe. So it was just
They literally like FaZe have game advantage in these votes. This is crazy.
You can't ask me. That's why I'm waiting for y'all to go.
G2 V1.
V1.
G2.
V1.
Yeah. Okay.
After a month break.
my break. Yeah.
Complexity Optic.
Complexity.
Optic.
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 Oh my
Optic.
god!
Optic beats Complexity. The Green Wall marches
That's
on.
right.
Gen G going up against Space Station.
Space Station.
SSG.
Yeah, Space Station.
Oh.
Yeah, we that's a sweep? Is that a sweep? Oh wait, no, Daz is the game advantage here for Gen G too.
So dumb.
I feel your pain, bro.
FaZe V1. Oh, this is why I gotta go version 1 then.
V1.
Sorry, FaZe.
FaZe.
V1.
Yes, sir.
Dang.
Optic SSG? Give me Optic.
Optic.
Space
SSG.
Station. Oh, Daz.
Bro, I don't even care, bro. I got neither of these teams in my upper final.
They're in your
round.
bracket, bro. Don't
Give me
give us
SSG.
SSG.
They're
Oh my
in
God.
lowers. Give
You
me
should go with-
SSG, man.
Your team is still in it. Relax.
SSG,
No,
there it
you
is. He
should
said
go with
it.
Optic because your
He said
SSG beat. Ah.
What?
Anyways, V1 SSG, V1.
V1.
V1. Actually,
Well, I
I
guess it's
recant SSG.
I'll go
SSG.
V1. I got V1.
Oh, well, V1 wins anyways. Who cares about your recant? We're going to go down to the lower bracket. That basically means that V1 is guaranteed to win this Spring Invitational. Let's look at this. G League versus NRG. NRG.
NRG.
Gen G or G League.
G League.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
G League. G League.
Zanil for the win.
G League.
Oh, the Zanil train. Let's go.
Zanil for the win.
That's right. That's right.
That's crazy.
He's squealing.
This bracket's interesting. All right, G League wins, I guess. All right, anyways. M80 going up against Koi.
Koi Boys.
Live Blaze on 10 hours.
Live on 10 hours, core.
He's been playing more Rust. I think that CRL loss really hit him.
Oh, no.
Oh no.
Lying down bad.
Team
He's down
Axel
bad.
versus Shopify.
Shopify.
Rebellion.
Shopify.
All right, and then you got Sup versus Dignitas. I'm going
Sup.
Sup.
Okay, Sup. Alrighty. Gen G going up against G League. Gen G.
G League.
What? Are y'all drunk?
Matter of fact, why not? If they're gonna be NRG, they're gonna be Gen G as well.
What a run.
Yo,
Let's go.
Hogan Mode.
Y'all are crazy. They move on. Complexity going up against Koi. Complexity.
Complexity.
Complexity. Nah, y'all still crazy. Like what?
G2 Shopify. Oh, that's the G2 dub.
Shopify.
Shopify.
Yeah. Yeah, it don't feel good, do it?
Shopify.
I did that out of pure pettiness. That's the only thing I did that out of was pettiness.
Yeah, well, I mean, that just ain't happening. Whatever. That just makes no sense. Reverse that. He's only doing it because he's being petty.
I genuinely believe Shopify made that.
Okay,
big
if we can,
That's not a crazy run from
I-
That's
Shopify.
not
G2 though.
crazy.
I actually have G2 on it.
Okay, so we got two G2s, bro. You decided vote.
Shopify.
Oh,
Let's go. Let's go.
Furia going up against Sup. Give me Sup.
Furia. What?
Furia.
Furia.
Sup haven't even won a game against Furia. Back
Furia.
No,
down.
they got clapped last time.
Back
There's just no
down.
way.
That's gonna
listen,
be
that's why I
a
was about
grudge
to go.
match. The
Wait,
Twitter
what
beef. I
Wait,
said that's gonna be a grudge match.
Wait, who'd you pick?
Oh
I
yeah,
picked
yeah.
Furia.
Okay, Fury, I guess. That's up, Dub, though. I know I'm a true heart of hearts. G League going against Complexity? All right, this is where they lose. Complexity.
Complexity. Yeah.
Complexity.
This is just not my bracket. Complexity. Like, y'all are,
They ran out of steam at this point.
this is dumb.
Shopify going up against Furia.
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 I'm gonna go Shopify.
So Complexity and Inferior, please. Production.
Shopify could.
Alrighty. And then FaZe going up against Complexity. I'll go FaZe.
FaZe.
I got FaZe.
And then Optic Furia. Give me the green wall.
Furia.
I'm gonna go Optic.
Optic.
I got Furia. Oh.
DeMar.
What?
You're the
He
last
said-
deciding vote.
I said Optic.
Yeah, he said Optic.
Oh, Optic. There we go. The green wall moves on. They're going up against FaZe. FaZe versus
Optic, FaZe, that's
Optic
kinda
in the
cool.
lower semifinals. We love to see that. And just because it's Optic versus FaZe, I'm going with Optic.
FaZe.
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 Appreciate the pity vote, mates.
All right, whatever. SSG, FaZe.
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 All right, let's move up to the top. And V1 wins, right? Surely. Sure. Yep,
Yeah, I got V1.
V1.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. Game over. Game over. That was an interesting lower bracket.
Well, the top bracket was so boring. We had to spice it up a little bit.
Yeah,
Top bracket got Mickey because FaZe had a free vote, but FaZe literally hasn't beaten Furia the last 3 times they played. But it's fine.
Yeah.
You can't
That
pick
was
against your
wild.
vote.
That was wild.
I'm just saying, Space Station's on the other side of the bracket this time, and you guys had the chance to put them through in the upper bracket. It's only Hoxer. It's just Hoxer, bro. Everybody else is it's a Mickey. FaZe, who cares? 5 games, Furia still win, and you're like,
Oh
oh no,
my
FaZe never gonna beat them
goodness.
this time. In 5, bro, come on now. Space Station on the other side of the bracket. This is the one time they're not gonna get this crazy. Oh man, I'm just Bona Furia. I got you guys. Whole way. Come on, top 2. Here we go.
Top 2. Okay. There's 10 teams that have a chance here. I want to get real quick before we leave this show. Can I get top who's our 5? Who's our 5 going to Boston from the room?
From NA?
Yeah. I can start. V1, FaZe, Complexity, Gingy, SSG.
I don't know. We can talk about it later. We gotta go. We're 35 minutes over. 35 minutes over the cable slot. We got something else coming on. Toodaloo.
V1, Space Station, Complexity, Furia, and FaZe.
All right, there you go.
That
sounds good.
I'll take that and I'll run with it. That being said, Jorby, Corelli, thank you so much for joining us on the show. I really appreciate you guys coming on.
Thanks
As
for
you
having
can
us.
see, y'all yap a lot. We've been here for a minute. So we appreciate it. Of course, everybody's been watching home. We're all base, of course, week after week, doing what we do. Man, regardless of everything that's been, of all the conversations and stuff, this North American regional is going to be sick. There's so much competition up and down, and we're going to see who wins Boston. I mean, tune in just straight from Friday. You guys are not going to want to miss the action because Friday's even going to have major implications. This entire weekend is going to be incredible, and Boston is setting up to look like it could be, in terms of competition top down, one of the highest competing lands we may have seen in a long time. So you want to figure out who from North America is going. So of course, keep it locked in on twitch.tv/Rocket League. Big shout outs to Psyonix for allowing us to do the show. Of course, I want to give a big shout out to production staff who help us out every single event, or every event and every show. Ben, Jay, Kier, Chris, Sky, Ace, everybody behind the scenes, Direct, of course, who comes in with the stats. We really appreciate all of that, of course, and all of our guests, and you who watch at home day in and day out. Even when we go over our time slot, we really appreciate it. So we'll be back next week after North America concludes, but of course, keep it locked in at First Touch RL and at our own souls. You won't want to miss any of the action as things continue on for the rest of the week. You guys have a good weekend. Be safe. Love each other. And 1, 2, toodaloo. I'll see you next week.